Hey guys. Yeah, I am Adara. This is Obi, and this is How to Trade. And I'm getting my little YouTube thing set up so we can welcome everybody to this here stream. Yeah, thank you very much. Bears versus Bulls is here. We have Darwin here saying hello, Adobe. Yeah, I wonder if anyone was bullish Adobe today. Hopefully, you're here. Shout out to Six Adobe. Shout out to Charlie Taff. Scarjo Rabbit, Adam Duluth, Obi is also in the chat. Oh boy. We've got Hey Davis, we've got Naps. I mean, shout out to Naps. Something I do frequently. Trader Forever, Hurry, Cooper Creek, Copper Creek, Joe Gaston, Vic, Blue Arrow, Neo, Roberts, Blind Leader, Corey, Bears with Bulls in here again, Ponzi Fonz, we've got Day Trader Cut, we have the Sankofa, we've got Bert 66, Pran, 420 Bud Monster. I think we'll end with that. How are you doing this morning, Obi? How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Bit of a choppy morning on my part. Again, you see how I only traded Tesla. Didn't really trade it too well. A little aggressive on the front side, and then when it does come in, I do get a little more aggressive, but I don't even hold it to fruition. There, I was like, I wanted to take it into VWAP. Here, I guess we can take a look at the 1 minute chart to see what mischief I was up to on the front side of the move. I'm like, all right, come on, you got to wait for the backside, wait for the trend to break here. I get in initially on the 217 pullback. I'm like, all right, that tape is a little distinct. Let me get in. And I get anchored to being over a point in the money on this trade. And I'm like, all right, well, this worked, so it's got to continue going, right? No, this is what, again, I got to stop out here when it breaks the high. But I stopped out way too late into the 219s. I'm like, well, oh shit, if 219 is going to print 220, the probability for 220, I think, just shoots up. But then we fail just below it and then break the trend. So I'm thinking, just reviewing my trade here, this is the entry right here. Like, I'm taking 3 shots back to back when I see the tape really selling off and the trend is breaking. So this has got to go. This has got to get a little bit better, but that's how my morning has gone. Tesla holding that 215 as of right now. I'm not really watching too much else. I know Amazon is on watch, Nvidia is on watch. Funny thing, I got to do better with following the plan. I looked over at Max this morning. I was like, all right, the plan is if we hold above the opening range high and we've claimed VWAP, get with the trend. And guess what? Tesla does exactly that. It holds 213s, goes all the way to 217s when I'm like, well, damn, I missed that long. That's about 4 points on that idea. And then I'm like, maybe a little bit of tilt, maybe a little bit of FOMO. I'm like, all right, well, if I missed the long, I'm not going to miss the short. And I got a little aggressive with that. But you know what? It is what it is. I did get aggressive with that. But a little run over by the Cybertruck on the front side.
It's pretty good.
Not too bad. Not too bad, though. But yeah, how is your morning going, guys? In the chat, I see Willis Addison already with the super chat. Grand Rising Traders, ASTS, $30 puts printing from 35. Yeah, no, I've been watching that ASTS as well. Kind of a crazy runner. Again, day 2 earnings today, so I did have it on watch, and I was like, off of the open, like prior day high break. Oh boy, look at that. 33 halves, prior day highs, 33.53s. You pull back in, pre-market holds this consolidation, and then you just rip pre-market highs, prior day's highs for a continuation. Nice little continuation, but take a look at the reversion, man. The reversion was absolutely beautiful as it came hard and heavy, dropping it down on this Astus here, all the way back through pre-market lows. So we're at 28s now, so Astus looking nice. So yeah, those 35 puts, Willis Addison, oh boy. You're printing on those. And again, are those 0 DTEs? Because that's probably really spicy.
Yeah, nice backside move there on the last. This is Microsoft. I am in. I have thoughts. I have mild qualms. But however, some of these qualms have been assuaged by the fact that we get to 418, which is what I'm risking into, and we can't do it. So I'm like, cool. I am cool with staying with this for now. But I want to discuss why I chose Microsoft. So look at these little lower highs, look at this rejection of the 9 EMA, and look at this flat bottom. Do I see flat bottom break? I don't know. Now we're trying to get back above this 418. If we take this violently, I'm going to have to say au revoir. I'm trying to risk Microsoft a little bit more, though, because if you saw my longs on Microsoft yesterday, that was the issue. I actually had a solid level there on Microsoft. It was a nice entry, blah, blah, blah. did not manage it appropriately, did not let it risk nearly enough. I ended up flat on it because I did take out some profit, but it was just not the vibe. So knowing that Microsoft is a SCO spread here, I have to be aware of this. That being said, should I have done this at VWAP? Je ne sais pas. Looks like we're trying to maybe hold VWAP a bit here. Like I said, though, every time we get into that 418, we do have that rejection. Right now, we're about, okay, we're going to be in the money a bit, Microsoft. Let's go. I'm going to be taking some profit out here if we get to 417.40s. Given that I risked into 418s, that's like even risk reward. I could be doing better with that for sure. But right now, I'm in Microsoft. Also, shout out to what we have here, Bears versus Bulls saying Adobe's back again. So yeah, love those shout outs there. Good times. Shout out to you, Bears versus Bulls. Shout out to everyone here. Yeah, just looking at this Microsoft, looking like we might be able to take some profit here. Paula, in terms of the implied move for NVIDIA earnings, because they're not for another 2 weeks, the implied moves change a lot. So I would say maybe wait to see what we've got heading in there. I can see if I can check for you, but generally they're going to be changing pretty constantly as we get into earnings. We got half the Microsoft out. Let's go. I'm down to add back in if we come back near my point of entry here. But right now, I want to see Microsoft have that little flat bottom break to the downside. A little bit of a candle here to the downside here as well. For the future, it is also going to be, guys, a little bit of a more lax lesson today. We're going to be talking about how to trade earnings just from experience, some in the wild examples. We had AMAT today, but also if there's any, past earnings plays we can reflect on, I think it should be hopefully a pretty chill session. Also, we're not going to be doing any voting for tickers today because Sharif is not here. So unfortunately, the mustachioed man that usually sits to my right will not be able to go in the green screen. Yeah, tell us what you're looking at here, guys. Right now, I mostly am just letting this Microsoft hopefully take me to the Bill Gates, to the downside with some profit. That's the goal here. What about, how are you doing over here, Obi?
I'm just reading the chat here. John Von Saunders saying, I got a Friday morning lunch on meeting in downtown Detroit. Hopefully I can take a peek at your show on my phone, Obi and Adara. Yeah, thank you for joining us on Instagram, on Instagram as well, right? I think, again, if you're on your mobile, there are a few different ways. Obviously, YouTube being the main one here. But yeah, no, let us know what you guys are trading. Hamed in the chat saying just shorted TQs. All right, so yeah, let's see TQs. I guess the Nasdaq's bouncing a little bit off of this 19.5. I'm kind of waiting and watching. I did like the short idea below this 220 here on Tesla. Again, this is crazy, man. Some of these tickers, some of these Mag 7s, they're like, have you seen the bid that has happened over the past week? Like, this is absolutely wild. There, some crazy price action happening there. So I'm gonna be like, I realize like I gotta stay patient. If something outlier kind of shows up, I do have to kind of preserve mental for that, and I did not do that well in the morning session as of right now with the expensive front side short that I kind of had. Kind of worked it back a little bit here, but still a little bit more to break even, but that's not what I'm thinking about. I am thinking about what is the next trade. So let us know in the chat. We're going to be going over just some earnings names, not necessarily how to trade earnings, but just reviewing a few earnings names that have occurred in the past few weeks and see how they kind of panned out and kind of like reverse engineer some of the moves where I'm like, okay, well, if it's this sector or if it's this name, what is it doing with pre-market levels? What maybe do I want to look at in the pre-market? Some of these earnings, they report the night before. Some of them report in the morning. So how do I want to tackle that a little differently? Or do I want to tackle that a little differently? So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. But yeah, not necessarily how to trade earnings. That's up to your playbook and your discretion. Let's see. I'm watching Tesla here as of right now. So Tesla, pretty crazy. Yeah, we got some lines from yesterday. Yesterday, if you guys were here, I kind of tuned in. I was like, yeah, Tesla's reverting the reversion, revving to the upside here, and I kind of had a little bit of a trade on it here, looking for that VWAP to come in, a bit of a 2-to-1, but that never did. And we got a hold of that 212 and that 215. So a little interesting. So 215s, 216s to the upside, a little bit of a double top through that. Again, coming in today, this little pullback holds and reclaims. So yeah, just looking back at it, I do have to kind of be wary of that. But take a look at this. We pulled back all the way down to 215, double bottom at 215. Now confluence with intraday VWAP and those prior days double top area here. We're just chilling in that area as the Nasdaq teeters on top of that 19.5. So that's kind of what I'm watching here as well. Something interesting I do want to note as well is NVIDIA. NVIDIA, that double top at 125. As soon as I sat down, I looked over at Sean. I was like, did you see that 125 double top? That is clean That is hella clean right there. And then you break the trend. So that makes the reversion even better, in my opinion. Double top reversion or trend break. That is absolutely beautiful. You get a full-on reversion to VWAP for about a 1.3% pullback there. And now we're holding below those 125s, teetering on top of VWAP as of right now, but relatively lower high off of the 125. So I'm curious to know what NVIDIA will potentially do with that relative to that 125. I see JKL in the chat with the super chat, got into Wolf yesterday after your assessment for looking for breaking of 4 now. Okay, so I guess you guys talked about a Wolf yesterday.
Yeah, I think we must. Yeah, we must. I think some people were talking about TerraWolf yesterday because I know their earnings earlier this week.
True, nice. What do you got going on? How's your softy short going?
It's going well, thank you. We already took profit twice now. I added back in first time, got back in right now. So like that 40s to me was the flat bottom break. We've now had 2 nibbles of that break. And then, like I said, I was waiting for us to come back into 417.80s, then I added back, or 70s, then I added back in. I'm gonna have another little resting order here if we get back to, last time I added at 59s, let's do 61s. Let's get a little spicy with it. 2 cent difference, so spicy, no, I'm joking. But yeah, happy with how I've traded this one so far today. I will admit, I was really interested to see what I would do with Microsoft, not because of those trades yesterday. Like I said, I was basically flat on Microsoft, but because it's not one I trade a lot. And so I was like, if it sets up, I want to be able to practice to trade it better, right? So now we're going to be getting ready to get some of the next piece of this out. We're actually making lower highs here, though. So do I want to set a peak quitter right away? Or do I want to wait? We're going to set a peak quitter for 35s here because 35s, you know, we're kind of edging lower here. The first peak quitter was 42, second was 41s, now 35s. We're trying to make that move to the downside along with Microsoft. But yeah, let's take another look at Wolf here for JKL. Yeah, happy you were able to get involved in that. Never advice, just takes on the charts. But if our takes on the charts are, of course, ever able to be of use, that's always really exciting as well, right? And one of my favorite things about being part of this community, you've got a great little bull flag breakout there at Wolf. I'm sure little wolves are howling to try to push up here. I like that we do have this bounce off VWAP quite a few times here on the intraday chart. Let's take a look at the daily here for TerraWolf. Nice little look here. Also, for our earnings list today too, what I was thinking is, I know I've been trading some earnings, so I can definitely look back at some charts and some takes on different types of earnings plays. Nice little look here. Yeah, like I think that this $4 area, if we can break above that, that could be a nice little look for that one as it tries to howl to the upside after its earnings. I want to look at Mara here as well because I know Freddie the Friendly Guy was asking for some thoughts on Mara. This one up right now, 1 2/3%. Shout out to BPI, who's not here today, but he's our Mara indicator. Desk. 1620 double top here on Mara. That is a wild look. We've not gotten back up there. Another level of resistance here that's kind of interesting is 1590s. We run into that a little bit on the way up, run into it hard on the way down. Not the type of stock I trade, but I think that resistance is pretty strong. We'll take a look at the daily chart here. Also, I did get out half the Microsoft position at 35s as planned. Looks like we're now kind of nearing back to my entry, so I'm going to have to reassess that in a bit. But right now, here we are on the daily on Mara. Bit of a downtrend here, but yeah, I know Sharif was mentioning that support at 14. I think that's a nice look on the daily chart. Thank you to Ahmed Almwala, AED 1799 super chat here. mRNA, nice move. Yeah, Moderna getting a shot to the upside, perhaps. It reminds me, I wanted to look at Pfizer because Pfizer got shot to the downside. Pfizer needs a vaccine there. Needs a little bit of TLC because it did have that, I guess, one of its treatments. It met one part, one of the endpoints did not meet the second endpoint. So that was a bit of an issue there for Pfizer. mRNA, wow. Yeah, shout out to you there, Ahmed Amwal. And it's interesting because we actually did have a little bit of chop and churn here early on. We push higher. We have, green candle after green candle here for mRNA. Let's take a look here as well on that daily chart. So Microsoft, I'm really proud of you, Microsoft. I have no words. Yeah, so interesting little look here for wow, Moderna on the daily, that 117.60s level, that was weirdly kind of a key level. I'd be maybe watching out for that. Not like we're going to get there today. They're currently at 88. Moderna is certainly falling off a skosh of a cliff. What any other names people are looking at before we go back here? Yeah, we're gonna. I guess if anyone's looking at anything, tag us. Let us know. Right now, still looking at Microsoft, and this Moderna reminding me. I wanted to look at Pfizer. How you doing over here, Obi?
Not too bad. I got a little bit involved again with looking for a potential continuation for the short idea. on Tesla there. We are kind of holding, as of right now, just in and around that 216 area here. So a little bit of a double tap on in and around this area. We're below VWAP as well for now. Yeah, just kind of watching how this 215 80s 216 area, again, prior day's highs. What were they again? They were 215.88. So we're just hovering in that area right there. So remember, double top a little bit from yesterday. We broke out of that double top off of the open there. So yeah, a little bit, definitely a little bit of interest there, in my opinion, for people who were taking prior day high breakouts as well. Again, being a double top breakout could be an interesting level here, and we're taking a little bit of a pause on top of this 215, 216 area in that 1 point kind of block here as of right now. As again, the futures take a little bit of a breather and consolidate a little bit sideways here. Again, on top of that 19.5 on the Nasdaq. Yeah, let's see if we can break this 215. We kind of talk about some potential key price action there. Look at that, a little bit of a double bottom happening here at that 215. We did make a relatively higher high, but again, a little bit of a wiki action there. So let's see what we do with that that 215 if it can come back in here. And we're getting a little bit aggressive. Again, take a look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq pulling back into that 19.5. So let's see if we can confluence that 19.5 break with a little bit of continuation on this short below this 215 as of right now. Again, we've got some other technicals here as well. I think this is an anchored from some time ago, but I don't think I put it on the 3-minute, so that shouldn't be there. Yeah, exactly. So I put it on a 15-minute or higher, and yeah, here we go. A little bit working for us here, about 50 pennies. We're coming into that 215 level. Let's see how we do with this 215 as of right now. Again, not the best entries on my part. I liked my 219 entry, but I got a little too aggressive and pieced off a little too early. Again, that also in my books, that also counts as overtrading, right? Overtrading not just with entries, overtrading with exits as well. I'm taking, like, it's working for me. I just got to let it work, let it do its thing, right? This 21. Is a trade, 21. This is I mean, we almost got to 21. We tested 20s, but yeah. So a little bit of continuation. We're making lower lows, lower highs. The morning momentum has dissipated. The market is also pulling back. So we have a decent amount of checks in our favor here for this trade. And again, VWAP hold potentially a trade within itself. Let's see if it works out. Again, the time of day being 11:18 in the midday session. Something else I want to note here is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is also kind of holding in and around its VWAP here. So both of these 15-minute charts look relatively similar here as of right now. Again, a strong beta. We were talking about how crazy the VIX has been over the past couple of weeks, and oh boy, we reverted 100%. We had 100% reversion all the way from the teens all the way to 60s. Again, prior Monday, and then coming right back in to those teens this week. So here comes that 215. Is there any size at that 215? Absolutely not. There's a stacked bid right there. Let's see if we can wipe a little bit of that bid. But the past 2 times we did come in, take a look at that. We did bounce off of this 215. So let's see if some of those buyers still continue to hold the level here at 215s, or do we print a little bit lower here? 215.75s. Average. We're printing 214.90s right now. So 88s, there we go. So there's a little bit of a point there on that 214. So we are taking a nice little pullback. Can we get a break through that 19.5? That's what I'm looking for next to potentially get a little bit bigger in this one here as it potentially continues. But again, the bid on 215, it's been there twice already. Can it be there again? Of course it can. Again, this can totally come right back up to VWAP, and I'd have to potentially stop out of that one. But again, looking for that continuation with a lot of confluence happening here. Look at NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA pulling back into some of these prior lows here as well. But yeah, it's been quite a wild couple of weeks here with the volatility doing its thing, with the bids coming in. I know people on Twitter are a little, I guess, anticipating some strong moves coming off of this bid. So yeah, definitely got to be watching out for volatility to potentially step back in as we reverted all the way back in. And maybe we revert the reversion, Adara. So we shall see. Here comes 214.90s. Can we print a little bit lower? Oh boy, there's some dark red on the tape there.
Shout out to your trade. That's awesome.
Thank you, thank you. Let's see how far this can get. What is the opening price? That's the next question I have. 211.15s. All right. So I don't know if we're gonna get the 211.15s, but we had the 215.70s. That 16 VWAP rejection breakdown here. 214 halves testing as of right now. Let's see, let's look back at it. Let's see what 214 halves may have been yesterday, because I know there was a consolidation pretty much all day. So consolidation lows from prior day here, 213s. Let me get all this junk out of the way here. A lot of lines, a lot of lines on the chart, making it a little messy. I like, again, I prefer naked charts there for the most part. But yeah, if you want to throw a couple lines there, I find myself doing that every now and then. But there's nothing better than a clean chart right here. So right here, consolidation lows right here, 213 and change. We're at 214.30s, headed right for those 213s there. So yeah, I guess that bounce didn't really bounce as much, and 214s are coming right up here as of right now. So that 214 double bottom breakdown through that 215 gives you about 70 pennies. We talk about price action trading. Oh boy, VWAP rejection. 214's coming in right now. No real size sitting there. Oh, actually 200 lots at the quarters on top. So you know what? I'll take a little bit of a piece off of that one there. And yeah, the second entry was a little bit better because I got the initial entry as we broke below 216s, and then I did a bit of an add as we popped back above 216s and kind of couldn't make it back to VWAP there. So this trade working out for now. A little lucky with this one. Continuation. Things are lining up right here. And I see the chat going off. Yes, Coca-Cola. Okay. Oh boy. All right. I haven't heard that name in a while. But okay. So 214's coming in. Sean, are you short anything right now? Because this reversion. We talk about the reversion, and oh boy, is this reversion coming in real hot. Tesla almost 2 points, and I have nothing on me, man. So gotta do. TXN 199 short, saying Sean right now. So Texas Instrument. Let's do some calculations on that one on the TXN right here. TXN. You ever use those calculators? Used to be pretty solid.
Yeah, I was a math nerd, so I was like all up in that for sure.
I remember some of them you could get like fancy with it. You could play like games on some of the higher like a more I guess adept calculators right here. We're catching a bit of a bid here, so you know what? I will take a little bit of it off here as we did bounce a little bit off of that 214 and just holding just a smidge. Like I said, 216s were the higher entry here. So let's see if this can give me a chance to add some more back in. But I like my breadcrumb that I'm holding right now just to catch a feel for a continuation. I'm going to look for other places, more pops to kind of potentially get in some more. Let's see if we can make some lower highs here on the Tesla. Let's see. Okay, so what were we looking at? Oh yeah, TXN. Sean saying you're short 199s. Yeah. Okay. Sick. 198, 92s. Yeah, that's solid. Prior day's consolidation right here in the 198 halves. We're coming right back in to that level. So let's see how that one kind of pans out. Pans out. Long Tesla 214s.
Well, you're short Tesla.
I am short Tesla from 216. Yeah. So again, we talked about this yesterday. We can have two different sides of a position on the same ticker and have two totally different plans, and still things can work out for both ways, right? So let's see if we catch a little bit of a bounce here. It did kind of slow down. Again, that 213, 214 area, consolidation lows from yesterday where we held quite distinctly for a significant portion of the day on Tesla. This is what I mean right here. So yeah, I actually took this reversion here. Again, as you guys may or may not know, I like the reversion. You know, throw some lines on a chart, call me a vorticism artist right here, pulling back in, break a trend, and then look at that trend resistance also breaks, so we revert that reversion. And I remember this action right here. This was a squeeze. So 214s broke out of this downtrend, that came off of high a day, this tape was very, very distinct. Take a look at this volume, expanding volume coming into that trend break, and I was short this name, covered a little bit here. You guys saw earlier my risk reward. I was looking for a 2-to-1 into VWAP. That couldn't get to VWAP, and I was like, all right, break a trend. Oh boy, get out of that one. That thing squeezed all the way to day high and then false broke day high for another beautiful reversion to the downside. So missed that reversion, but again, a little bit of a solid price action here. Now again, do the same thing here on Tesla. Why am I getting involved here and not stopping out when the high a day breaks? But take a look at this. That break a trend. Oh boy, that trend break brings us in over 4 or 5 points all the way to the downside here on Tesla, testing 214 halves as of right now. So with that, I guess we can get into quote unquote the lesson, not really a lesson, but just a review. We're just doing some chart reviews. I like to do some chart reviews, some kind of looking back at it and seeing kind of reverse engineering some of the potential plays that happened off of earnings. And a name of recent comes to mind right here that didn't really do too much, and that's Walmart from yesterday. So I don't know if you guys were watching Walmart from yesterday. Hold on, let me just throw on a stop here for this ticker. So we'll do that. Thank you. All right, so stops in on Tesla. We will get involved once again if it gives us more chances. But yesterday, so earnings. So all week you guys talked about earnings. What were some of the topics that you guys talked about throughout the week on earnings?
Yeah, we talked about earnings gaps. We talked about a lot of like ahead of the earnings, like earnings, whispers, earnings expectations. A lot of it was just kind of like the theoretical setting into earnings. And then, yeah, sometimes, like, I know you talked about earnings gaps when we did gaps. There was some kind of discussion like that as well. So a lot of more like kind of theoretical approaches to earnings.
Okay, yeah. So that's perfect. Walmart actually gapped up towards all-time highs. So that was that I was looking. So this was again one of the top ideas yesterday. Look at Walmart on a higher time frame chart, and look at that. We are trading. These are all-time highs now. All-time highs 74.23. So coming into earnings, what was I personally looking at? Now I can't speak for others. I'm not gonna this is not again. It's not advice or anything, but this is just how I was perceiving this trade. Again, a lot of people talk about the gap give and go and being all-time highs. I was looking for that continuation off of the open. That never really came. That never really came in very well. We did gap up above prior highs. We trended up into the open, and we did catch a little bit of a bounce. So yesterday, go down to the 1 minute. We pull back. So what are some of the things that I like to use when I'm looking at earnings day one? And then we can also talk about earnings day two, which is, in my opinion, earnings day two is also a very, very solid kind of look there. You have an initial day with relative volume that has significant, like there's short-term players. There's a lot of new interest in from earnings day one. And then the prices, in my opinion, can become significant if they've shown any sort of significant price action on day one. They can kind of come in on day two as well. And you can see that already here on the Walmart. So Walmart comes in yesterday, pulls back in. So earnings reaction blasts up through those prior highs there, makes a high at 73.80. So I like to look at that initial, so I like to call it the initial reaction high and low. So this is the initial reaction low, and this is the reaction high right there. And then that's kind of like digestion, kind of taking in the data, players kind of getting in, volume coming in into the open and off the open as well. But I like both of these prices or references as well. So the consolidation. So what happens after that? What story builds after that earnings reaction? Also, again, I know a lot of people like to take a look at the fundamentals, and a change in fundamentals, a significant change in fundamentals in the earnings report could definitely give you some confluence, give you some trade ideas as well. Again, if in my opinion, if it's a little outlier, right? So that's kind of what I like to look at, but nothing too crazy here. It's Walmart. They made some money. They did well on their earnings report. We pushed up into all-time highs. I'm looking for that gap give and go continuation potential there. So we do pull back into this pre-market consolidation. So right here, earnings reaction, chop, chop, chop sideways, holding higher lows. You pull in. So again, you guys have heard me say this multiple times. If the bid is real, And that bid is coming in with significant relative volume. Again, you can see 100 to over 100 RVol here on the 5 period on a 1 minute chart. So again, we can go to the 3 minute. I like to use 3 minutes. That might be a little bit different, but again, 140, 120, 100x. So significant relative volume on Walmart, and we hold kind of this area here. I'm just looking at the core of this consolidation. That's where we pull back into and catch a little bit of a bid. Not only do we catch a bit of a bid, we trade inside of this range for the rest of the day. So that bounce never really came. That continuation through pre-market highs never really came. And I stopped out on this ticker kind of after this pop. I chased into this pop here, looking for that 75, pull into 75 pre-market highs. Just below that doesn't really come in, and we trade sideways. So those are some of the things I liked to look at for Walmart there. And talking about day twos, there was a bid here, right there, 72 halves. That held as low of day all day. And take a look at this. We open up today, and lo and behold, where does a bid catch right off of the open? Right there again on those 72 halves, taking it right back into that range. So again, if you were watching the tape on that, maybe you're observing it yesterday as well, very tight consolidation. Maybe you're looking for a reclaim of that range that we held so well all day yesterday. So Walmart was interesting, but pretty much a dud for what I was looking for. But now if you were looking for a reversion of pre-market price action, right, you definitely got that trade coming right off of the open. So look at this. So strong trend going into the open. You break that off of the open, you wick that trend, and then you take the pull back in. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, you're like, all right, well, we can't even reclaim this trend off of earnings reaction consolidation, breakout continuation, and then you break that trend in the pre-market, you wick it right off of the open. So yeah, that's a potential reason to sell as well. So depending on what your reasons to buy and reasons to sell are and how you're looking at it, you could have definitely played it both ways. It gave you a bit of the long, but the short was much better for sure on Walmart, and taking a little bit of the pullback into prior day's range here from yesterday. So there's another name that I do want to kind of talk about, which was significant, Nike off earnings. Now, this wasn't that recent, but it was definitely, Nike's been doing some things over the past couple of days there. But Nike earnings, okay, so we'll go to a 15-minute if you don't want to show me that. All right.
Well, when charts like don't behave, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't use like my main account here for the show there. Again, I got a lot of lines, a lot of mess on the charts, so I kind of like to keep those to myself there. But take a look at this. Nike breaking down off of the earnings report. Aggressive selling. And again, maybe not too much of an outlier report, but maybe the guidance, maybe some stuff with the guidance. But technically, take a look at this. If you go to a weekly on Nike, where was that breakdown, right? So that breakdown came in as a multi-year low right here. So we broke below this 88 level. So that's the low from 2023, right? That's the low of the year from 2023. This was the low of the year from 2024. So a little bit of a double bottom at that 87.87 on the earnings report. And then this low from 2022 is down at 80. So what happens coming into the day on earnings day one on Nike? So let's take a quick look at that. So aggressive selling below multi-year lows through those high to mid 80s. So this name was on SSR off of the open, but my question became, anybody and everybody who has been long on Nike since 2022 or 2021, so 2022 as well, because we've got below that 80 going into the open. I'm like, all right, so how many of these longs are offside? And the beautiful thing about the SSR mechanic is that if you're trying to short and you don't have inventory, you cannot hit the bid, but there are certain players who can hit the bid. And those are people who already have inventory, people who are already long. So coming off the open with a little bit of tape rating, if you see size on the bid getting smashed on an SSR name, you may have an idea of who is doing the selling, right? And then you can see that aggressive continuation to the downside here right off of the open, 80s breaking, multi-year lows breaking through the 88s off of the earnings reaction in the after hours, nice little continuation, and then you dropped all the way down to 74, so below 75. So that was a beautiful trend a trend trade, technical breakdown, trend off of the earnings reaction, continuation, and then using that SSR mechanic to your advantage and using that information that you're seeing on the tape as a bit of nuance to kind of guide your plan through on the day on Nike. So that was also a beautiful kind of, again, trade that happened on Nike. So a little bit of reverse engineering there on Nike. So yeah, that's we can cover those two tickers for now. Did you have anything to add on day one, day two earnings names that you said you've been trading a little bit more often recently?
Yeah, I have. And I think one, too, that I believe, I know you were also involved in day one with Shopify.
Yes.
I can see if I have my charts on Shopify because that was a fun one for sure, where I was trying to get the reversion on that, trying to be the reversion man. I'm not JPow. But yeah, so one thing, too, with the Shopify, I have my chart up here, is I tried to take this VWAP short. I guess the point of this is sometimes you have to be patient and kind of wait for moves because it might give you that reversion, but it might not give you that reversion right away or the way you want it. So I tried to take this VWAP short twice before it actually worked. I think I had this trade as well on my Twitter, tradertv.live. But so I got involved initially. I got way too aggressive with the size, got stopped out, all good. Then I zoomed out, went for the long because I was like, okay, this trend can continue. Then you try the short again here. And again, it's just basically trying to see, like, when you have these sustained earnings moves, my theory is at some point, something's got to give. But before the reversion, you can play with the trend, right? Until it gives what I'm trying to say, I guess. I was able to make money on both sides. Then third try here, now that I've seen a lot more confluence, like look at all these 5-minute candles to the downside. Now I've seen the move more. Now that's when the earnings move really decides to let its breath go. And keep in mind, when I took this screenshot, we were still up 20% on the day. We were all the way down here, right? So it's not going to give up everything. Definitely be cautious, especially when you've got these names sharply to the upside because they might still continue higher, right? With earnings too, you've got all this volume of these players that aren't normally going to necessarily be there for some of these stocks. So just being aware of those. And then also with those sharp moves to the downside, shout out to Nike, which I know you traded on day one earnings there, with regards to the SSR as well. There's just a lot of different things to be aware of on both sides of that coin. So also with regards to day two, be aware of SSR names on day two because Novo Nordisk got me for that. Okay, I think I was like flat on the trade because I took a profit in one place. But just be aware, sometimes remember if it was SSR or not, because if you're trying to do a short day two, sometimes they can get a little herky-jerky. I'm going to be getting out of my Palantir short because that is now popping up above 32s, which was my level. We took our sweet times to get above 32s here. What is my position? Good times, but yeah, so we took our sweet time to get above 32s. Once we did, I had to get out there, risking to 32s. I'm okay with that trade. Did not work out, but not everything's going to. What I'm really disappointed, though, is what I did with Microsoft. I had a nice little fun short here. I got it when we got below 417.4s. Then, why did I get back in? So I got back in here, and initially I was hesitant to get back in because I was like, okay, it's kind of interesting here. The Qs at the time were pushing lower. Microsoft pushing higher. But then we got a bit of a move down to Microsoft. I said to Dara, you know what? Try this short again. Didn't work out. Wasn't even able to get entirely filled where I wanted to, so that wasn't super fun. Tried the long here as well. Then I was like, if we're bouncing off 418, get long. Much smaller position. That actually worked beautifully. That was beautiful for a brief moment. And then it moved lower. If we want to continue bouncing off VWAP here, I'm interested, but I wouldn't be getting. I got initially involved 418.10s. We're going to try to build a position here, 418.01s. If Microsoft will have me. So I'm willing to have that, willing to risk into 417.80s. To me, that's a risk reward level that makes sense. I've been watching the book on this. I'm comfortable with this. There were some comments here on Meta from Joanna Brewster that I found really interesting, and I agree with that. I want to talk about potential reversion here. Okay. Look at this big old bottoming tail candle on Meta. So I looked at a couple different time frames because initially I saw this topping tail candle in the 5 at the 90 MA, and I was like, short? But then I said, Dara, check other time frames, and I, like you called it, Joanna Brewster there, like, look at this multi-time frame support at 526 on Meta.
See that? Yeah.
That is crazy. That was like, Dara, don't short this. Do not short this at all. Happy I did not.
Like a reversion right now.
Pardon?
Potentially, it's looking like a reversion right now.
Yeah, this is like literally like a nice little potential reversion play here.
Meta reversion.
If it pushes above the, like you know what? I actually don't mind this, like 527.70s, like right below 528, like anywhere we have these topping tail candles, that's where I'd actually be interested. My thing with Meta, same with my thing with Lily, I'll really only trade it if I have a risk to reward ratio that makes sense. I would need to figure out where my stop would be on this. That would be my qualm. Microsoft, 100% not going to get filled here. We're like a cool 60 pennies from my point of where I wanted to enter. So sometimes trades don't work out. A little bit unfortunate that I'm almost paused. I gave up all the gains I had there on those shorts with those, little muddled trades earlier. It's just like, trust yourself, Adara. If you're a little bit about the short, don't go short again. This Palantir trade, though, the management was fine. I'm happy with it. I got short as we broke below VWAP. I was willing to risk into 32s. We took our sweet time breaking 32s. Once we broke 32s, I had to get out. So all good there. That being said, if we then switch to bounce off 32s, I'm willing to go long. I like 3205s and I like risking into 32s. You know what? We're going to start building this. There you go. Also, shout out to Joanna Brewster, who actually has the meta trade. So they're very, very pleased as punch for you there, Joanna Brewster. Something brewing there for sure in the long. Also, someone was asking me how I felt about NVIDIA short. Honestly, to me, NVIDIA mirroring the cues a little bit here. They both have a little bit of a head. Sorry for gasping. But look at this NVIDIA. Oh my God, so many pushbacks today. Look at these markets open. This is, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Am I allowed to say that?
We're holding.
Right? Like, look at this 123.60 top, okay? Look at this. All of this beautiful support at 122.75s, higher lows. I'm so tempted to get long here. I don't think I'd get filled. 123.20s. Like, if I tried to get involved at 21, maybe that would do something for me. I could risk this into 122.90s. Giving NVIDIA 25 cents when I'm trying to make minimum 40, that to me is a risk reward ratio. That does make sense. Do I have any order? Yeah, okay, got long Palantir, so I'm gonna let that one cook. Like I said, risking 5 pennies there, so chill with that. Let's see how NVIDIA cooks here, because I actually do like the idea of going long off of VWAP, not just because it's VWAP here, but we also did have these wicks into it earlier. That is some stuff I like here. NVIDIA long says Vicky on Novak, so it looks like there is some support here for that NVIDIA long. Palantir, cool, 2 cents in the money. Small victories. Small victories. I want to show it again, though, your Cybertruck trade, because that one was like tooting to the downside there, that when you had that short on that. Nice. 215. How are you doing over here?
I just noticed you have a lot of charts open.
I have arguably too many charts.
Wow, I honestly like that. I was like, yeah, you have a nice like you got the Mag 7s up there, you got the Nasdaqs, you got a lot of tech names up there.
Yeah.
That's how I like my screen setups as well. I like to have like a bit of a perspective on like a lot of the large caps and things that are in play all at once, because again, it's not always that you can notice that things are setting up potentially for what you like. But again, if you have the real estate for those charts, it's definitely something that again you can if you like it, you can look into. But yeah, no, nice. With that Meta actually doing a bit of reversion, so I did kind of draw a little bit of a trend line here. We're taking a pull up. No real volume on the trend break though, but we are reverting a little bit. Again, kind of to refer to what, to reply to some of the mentions in the chat. Ponzi Fonzie asking, Obi, what's the Lambo trade, bro? Bro, the Lambo trade was either the Tesla long off of the open, the 212 or VWAP opening range high hold, or the reversion of the 220 failure to follow through trend break back through 19s all the way down to VWAP, and it gave you more than VWAP. It gave you all the way 214 halves. Right? So that's fine. I kind of missed a point on there, but when it popped back up and kind of pulled into VWAP, I did take the short back down from 216s to 214s and some change as of right now. But I think if there was a Lambo trade, it gave you a bit of give you an acceleration to the upside, and then kind of a pullback in to the downside as well. So a little bit of both ways. Now, I think HN was asking in the chat, why'd you get out of your Tesla short? I put a stop in on the break back above 215, right? So just trying to make good decisions. Something, again, we were talking about the DAC, the NASDAQ, and that 19.5 hold as well. So I was like, this is consolidating, this is slowing down, and the NASDAQ is holding that 19.5. So if we hold that 19.5 and we try to bid back up, we might hold this 214 and some change on Tesla. Why is that? Because yesterday's all day over 3-hour consolidation lows were in and around 213s, 214s. So if the market's going to bounce 19 halves, and I see it slowing down, and I see it kind of Tesla slowing down as well, I was there getting aggressive on the short side, and I'm like, okay, fine, and I have reasons to buy, which put me into just a breadcrumb left of the position that I had on. I'm like, yeah, all right, if we're going to bid back up, I'm going to look for the short at a higher price. I'm willing to give it back to 215s and reassess and take a look at that. I didn't know what it was going to do, but using those factors, in my own opinion, I was like, the probability of a pullback in if we hold 19 halves might be a little bit higher, so I want a piece off of that. Now again, it happened to work, so I got a little lucky. It's not going to work every time, right? But looking at probabilities is kind of how I like to take it. Again, I'm not that much that good of a poker player, but if you want to use an analogy, is the probabilities are changing as the river is kind of laid out, and those changing probabilities come in the form of changing price action throughout the day. So those probabilities continuously change, and then it's up to you to kind of, or this is me talking to myself, it's up to me to make decisions based off of changing probabilities. Oh boy, is that reversion coming in with some aggressive back-to-back buying. Look at these candles, Adara. Back-to-back clean candle opens and closes for the reversion on Meta, already about over 2 points off of that. What is it? If you took the trend break, maybe you took it around 527s. We're trading 528. 80s, 529s almost right now here on Meta. So nice call out on that one. What are you guys talking about in the chat? I see Young Fuzz. Would love your thoughts on 5 if you get a chance. All right, so let's take a quick look at 5s. I did kind of scroll up there. All right, so 5, yeah, sure, we can take a quick look at 5. I already have it pulled up as of right now. Haven't seen this name in quite a while, but it seems like yesterday, a little bit of relative volume. Let's see how much relative volume it had there. What is that? Two times? Yeah, so we had some pre-market RVOL, but breadcrumbs on the chart, literally looking like about 5 breadcrumbs on this right here. But we open up strong, we hold trend, doing a little bit of a relative volume continuation today. So does this have a catalyst? I don't know, but definitely doing some relative volume from prior day. Let's take a quick look at a higher time frame here so we can get a perspective on what this ticker has been up to. Let's go to the hourly. Okay, all right. So we've been selling off since prior earnings, it would seem, and catching a little bit of a base here for about 10-day base that we're attempting to push back off of. So yeah, maybe catalyst. Maybe news catalyst, maybe technical catalyst as well, as we've been selling off quite aggressively, and we talk about volume coming in off of trend breaks. So selling coming in off of earnings, bit of a trend, and look at that, trend breaks, and then you get relative volume on strength on the first day that really bids up off of that trend break. Now it could be confluence with news. Again, I didn't check that far back, but let's see. Let's take a quick look here to see if it had any sort of news. 7 days ago, 2 days ago, yeah, it does up over 9%, largest percent increase since December 2022. Okay, whatever, irrelevant. But technical breakout is what I'm seeing right off the bat. By the time you digest the news and be like, oh, why, who, what, where, when, why, the price action's probably done printing and the move might be done. So I just like to go off of price action and the charts there. Chipotle selling all day. CMG, hello. So it's been so we did kind of sell off aggressively off of the whole Starbucks move earlier on this last week, so no, that was earlier this week.
It was this week.
It was earlier this week. I'm kind of confuzzled on that one, but selling off, we got up to 54, so we reverted over 50% right off the bat, and then we're taking a strong pullback coming into end of the week. So maybe some, I don't know, tinfoil hat, tinfoil suit. Maybe some calls are being washed on this Chipotle with that spicy red action to the downside. 52s coming in, prior day's lows. 51 halves as of right now, broke below this consolidation of prior day as well. So CMG, what you got going on, Sean? Because I know what that means. 214s, Tesla long, yeah. So yeah, great long. We talk about this again, being in opposite positions and still kind of profiting off of those relative to where you're in. I got out 215s because I was like, yeah, probability of a reversion back to VWAP off of this hold might be a little higher, and Sean took that long off of that same kind of level, that slowdown as well. What was your reasoning to get long there, Sean?
Well, you're both here.
Yeah. So prior day's levels, support and resistance coming in. It's 50 period moving average. I know Sean loves to use the 50 period as well. So a little bit of confluence for the long off of that, right? So it's like Sean saw reasons to buy. I saw reasons to buy as well. I was in the short. He started a fresh position long. So this is why I like that perspective, the perspective of using just straight reasons to buy and reasons to sell, and then making decisions based off of whether you're already in position or not in position. Like, is this a good enough reason to buy to cover? And now, is it a strong enough reason to buy a cover and get on the long? Clearly, as of right now, we kind of pulled off of that 214 half test, pushing into VWAP, pushing back into VWAP, where sellers kind of showed a little bit of face there earlier, and we're taking a little bit of a pullback through 216. So let's see if that comes in on Tesla there. So let us know in the chat what you guys are trading today. I'm looking for the next trade. I told myself today I'm just going to wait for things to fall into my lap. Some days I was talking to Wayne and Brankos on the bridge about this in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I don't really have any great ideas coming into the open. And yeah, sometimes you don't necessarily need to have any ideas really every day, right? So it's not every day that some of the best trades set up, but things can fall into your lap. And that's why, again, going back to, I'm looking at Adara's screens here, a lot of charts on watch for names that she's potentially interested in, to see if they're doing what she's looking for, and looking to potentially get involved if that's the case, right? So I do that. I kind of do that as well. Like on my other screen, like I guess I can show this a little bit here. So I have multiple kind of tabs open with multiple shares. So here, this is my quote unquote in play, or things that I like, tech basket, or not. Wait, this is not the tech basket, but this is part of it, I guess. So I'm watching Nvidia today. I'm watching Tesla. I'm watching Walmart for day 2. I'm watching Nike. We know that's been having some volume. Watching Bucks as well. Starbucks, CMG again in play this week. I'm watching VanEck Semiconductor ETF and TQs as well on my other screen. And I got a lot of other stuff going on here as well, looking at the futures and some of the top names in the Mag 7 as well. Nvidia, Softy, Apple, Alphabet, and Amazon as well. You got Tesla on this side. So yeah, I like looking at multiple charts and kind of building that story, building that picture of price action that's happening in the constituents, and as well as some of the futures and some of the ETFs, those instruments as well. So I like that look, Adara. What do you got going on?
Yeah, we're going to first, though, thank our sponsors here at Benzinga. Are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch-up in the market? Are you missing out on big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else, pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to scale Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial. Shout out to Benzinga. Shout out as well to Obi there for all of those great insights, seeing some support there in the chat. So shout out there. But also, I am really happy to say I'm in 2 positions and they're both profitable, and that doesn't happen a lot. So you. So this is actually one of these I got a side chart for. That's AMD. AMD is one of the permanent residents of my side charts. I have some they'll rent space briefly, earnings plays, but yeah, AMD is pretty much a permanent tenant, because I think it gives you some nice moves sometimes. And imagine my just excitement and joy when I see this rejection here of one, this beautiful little baby range. I was like, okay, Dara, play the range. To be fair, the deck was kind of, I don't want to say stacked against me, but there were some reasons to go long here too. Because we did have, at the time, well, still here, we've got the Qs pushing really high here. So I looked at my side chart, and I look at the Qs, and I see the Qs, and I'm like, okay, we're trying to push up here. Not necessarily a great look for your AMD short. We also had as well another factor of iffiness was we are above that 90 MA and we're above VWAP. We had that gorgeous
they are.
Candle to the upside. Is there
charts?
Oh, that's the charts. That's why they're showing these charts. Shut up. I don't know why I missed that. Yeah, guys, I've got Walmart, Nike, IWM, PLTR, AMAT, SPY, AMD, Crowd. Permanent residents are SPY, AMD, and IWM. Palantir's renting a lot of space lately too, but the other ones I just switch around. Anyways, yeah, so I took some profit here at AMD 148. I like the whole dollar level. We tried to break below, couldn't really. Then I fat fingered and took a little bit other stuff out here too. Wasn't necessarily intending on doing that, but I'm not adding back in until I have a reason to do so. Also, the reason I added in here at 20s was because we were holding that 20s really well. The second we broke below at 21 did something for me. I got short again at 148.19s. My second position is Palantir. We had the short, didn't work out, managed it appropriately. You know, one thing Neil said that really sticks with me is your losing trade should be boring. The Palantir trade was a bit of a snooze fest. It wasn't like Microsoft, which was like, not even like that was bad and flattened it, but it just wasn't the same kind of thing. But this Palantir, right? Look at this. Like I said, if we had any kind of retest of that 32 area, I wanted to go long with a vengeance. I went long. I added when we got to 32.10s because that was a bit of an area I liked here, some of that wick action earlier a little bit. So I said, added 10s, nice little position. I have now taken out 40% of the position. I'm willing to add if we come back and bounce here around 15s because 15s is a bit of a wiffle waffle area. I'm really happy with this trade. If we get below 32.10s, I'm out. That was certainly an area that was a lot of whiffling and a lot of waffling. Proud of what I did here. AMD coming back near a point of entry, so I might have to watch. And hopefully we don't get stopped out of this, Lisa, soon. But if we get too much above that 148.30 area, things might get a little bit spicy and dicey for AMD. What's everybody else looking at here in this chat? I can't believe it's almost 12. Time flies here. Yeah, this AMD, we're going to get out here to AMD because I just don't like the way we pushed a little violently here above that area and the way we're bouncing off the 90 MA. I'll get out of this flat, and you know what? I will actually get back in if I want. Okay, I got out, and now AMD's like, oh, what do you mean? I'm going to go back below 20s. You know, that 20s area, if this holds at 20s as support, I'm actually tempted to go long and risk it into 148s because, like I said, that 148.20s, once we broke below that, that's when the short was hot. Before that point, it got a little bit dicey. So if we hold 148.20, oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to start to build a position here, 148.20s. And it's interesting, too. I've been really trying. By the way, this is going to be smaller. This is like literally less than a third the amount of shares I'm trying to get here in this long than I had in this short. But if we're going to bounce off the 90 MA, if I've watched the book move, I'm willing to flip it and reverse it because, you know, as Kanye and 50 Cent said, go ahead, switch the style up. If they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. I don't know if the money will be piling up. It didn't when I tried to do this in Microsoft. But sometimes your idea isn't like necessarily correct, but you have the right levels. You have levels you like. And if you've watched the book and the chart in the stock previously, you kind of know how you want it to move. So if you see that movement again to the flip side, just flip and reverse your brain there and let's hopefully let it work it. Apple, lots of people asking about Apple. So let's see if we can take a bite out of that chart. Oh, getting near 220. Wow. This rounded bottom here in Apple. This looks like a little apple. It's got this little like swoop. This is I guess the chart doesn't look like an apple. I don't know what that analogy was. This is a great look here. I love that chop and churn we had here. 225.50s pushing higher. Another Meg 7 name. I saw a Grov as well in the chat mentioning some rejection here. This Meta. So I see the 529 rejection. I'm still tempted to think it's a long, and that's because we have that rejection, but look how beautifully we bounce off that previous rejection area, 527.50. This is a great long. I, though, would love to see it clear 529 nicely. I don't really have an area in which to get involved here, but if we clear that 529, that's a nice little look. Got filled here in AMD. The second we get filled, of course, we break below my area. If we can break below 148, I'm getting out. But like I said, much smaller position. I wanted to take a bite of the apple, and that's why I've hid P&Ls, because I think when you're hiding P&L, when you're just focused on the movement and the trading, I think you, or at least I find I tend to make better decisions, or at least decisions that are not based on chasing profit. They're based on chart movements. They're based on the book. They're based on the tape. Meta spreada, actually not that bad here either. But a 10-cent spread for Meta is like, that's beautiful. I like this. If I were to get involved here, 528 isn't bad. Risk it into that 527.50 area because we know that's been a bit of a level. And if you're looking for like 529 profit minimum on Meta, to me, that's a risk to reward ratio. That makes sense. Palantir, kind of chilling here. We're about 13 pennies in the money with Palantir. Pretty decent size, so please just punch with that. Basically flat on AMD here, and I see you hopped back into that whole Cybertruck. How was your ride going?
Not too bad here. Yeah, so just again, let's see if it kind of works here. VWAP holding as of right now. Again, with a tighter stop and much less size than I had obviously initially. I had pretty much what I wanted here, and I don't really hold it to fruition. And that's about what it dropped more than four points off of that. So again, spending too much mental capital on the front side. I hold this position almost 2 points against me because I'm like, well, the risk to reward. I'm looking for 4 points, and I'm going to give it two points. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that on the front side of the move. Yeah, again, spending too much mental and then taking too many decisions on when the move actually comes in. Got to do better on that again. But market's pulling up, pushing to the upside here, and just reading the chat. Let's see. Liana saying, dig in your glasses. Thank you. I do like my older glasses a little bit better. Again, we talk about the widescreen vision there with the aviators. I got to be able to use my peripherals effectively with all the screens that I do have, and I like the wider frames. Yeah, these aren't too bad either. But yeah, no, thank you. Piper asking, any idea what video card you use for all those displays? So I did pull up what I was curious as well as soon as you said that. So I'm like, yeah, what video card are we using? You'll be surprised as to what you really need to run multiple monitors, right? Because like especially it's not graphically intensive. Like I'm not trying to play Crysis 2 here, right, or Crysis 1 on multiple monitors. So you don't necessarily need that much I guess of a powerhouse. But maybe if you're trying to record the crazy price action, maybe you need some better graphics here. But again, I can tell you what we're using, or what this specific PC has. Again, dual graphics card, so that'll definitely help with a multi-screen. And yeah, it's a GT 1030 and a GT 710. So nothing crazy at all, right? And the screens work perfectly fine here at this desk. And yeah, again, dual graphics cards definitely will help on that. But I definitely prefer my setup at home with the 3060 Ti coming in real clutch. But yeah, no, graphics card. If you wanted to know, that's what we are. Guillermo asking, Adam DeLuz and me, are you guys checking seeing? Like C as in C, the ticker C, like Citigroup? Sing, or as in CING? Yeah, I heard that's been a bit of a mover today. So I think there's a small cap. I'm not too sure what they're
actually, yeah, they are a small cap. They've got like 850,000 shares, so really small float.
Okay. Yeah, so that kind of stuff can definitely be cornered very easily. Again, $15, $16, and a float under $1 million. Imagine like anybody with $15 million can corner all of that float. That you might not want to do that. You might want to corner like a little bit, but again, we're not talking about what you may or may not want to do if you have buying power that can swing some of these stocks. But that kind of float can definitely easily be cornered. And we're coming off of earnings. That's interesting as well. A little bit of a push to the upside here. How much volume has this thing done today? 55 million. So a nice little churn. A lot of dollar volume pushing through this ticker. So people talk about float rotation, maybe some float rotation happening here as, again, float being under 1 mil, and we've traded 55.5 mil. So my question is, how much of the free float actually is there? How much of it is it being held? And what's going on here? So yeah, exactly. But without any further ado, it's time for your lesson of the day. Neil is at the big desk. What's going on, Neil?
Thank you. We'll be ready for another lesson of the day here. It's a simple one today. Just buy, sing, go home. Let's throw back to the Learn to Trade desk. Obviously, I'm kidding here, but I'm joking. But you know what's interesting, and I want to say something about Sing before I actually get into what I want to talk about, which is being patient in the market. But there was a moment this morning when we were talking pre-market about some movers. Like some low float runners that were going. I know Brennan was mentioning a couple at the desk there with Adara. And at that time, the only one that was on that list that was holding its gap to the upside, still doing the same volume that it was at like 7 and 8 a.m. in the morning, and was continuing to do more volume, and was actually still trending higher, was CING. All the other ones that got mentioned did not have that pattern. And oddly enough, it is CING, the one that ends up going up, because it was still doing volume, it was holding higher, showed relative strength. I don't know where the top is going to be. That stock is ridiculous. But I want to talk about patience, which you probably need if you are even thinking about shorting Sing, but let's hope that you're not. And there's a difference between, like, anybody can tell you, yeah, you know, I'm a patient person. I don't complain when I'm in a long lineup. Anybody that has kids knows what real patience is. And I think when you're trading, you get an understanding of what real patience is as well. It's not enough for a stock to go to a general level and then you wait to trade it. The other part of patience is, okay, well, when it goes to that level, is it actually giving you what you're looking for? And should you do anything until you see what it is that you're looking for? So I'm going to give you an example here with Tesla. Tesla's been a great learning stock the last couple of days. As far as I'm concerned, the way that the stock has been going has been nuts. But the thing about Tesla, it's pretty simple why somebody might want to look at a short in this range. You're just getting above the 50 period, big rebound into previous resistance levels, that 215 looking pretty juicy on the daily chart, double top at 216 even. Let it get to that price, put on the short. But is it doing anything that's setting up that short at that moment? Gets in, does not break 216. This is like the second candle of the day. You get the open on a 3 minute, second candle of the day, it's already showing a dip. This is an example to me of, okay, well, it's technically doing what I was looking for, but that's a very impatient trade because you're still screaming up in the opening range and you're not showing a resistance level. Now, there's a difference between, well, if I like 217, I can understand why you might short this in here. That makes sense. But that's an impatient short. Disciplined stop out, flat trade because we took some profit. But the entry doesn't make any sense for discipline. Oh, and by the way, this random line that we have marked off at 220 from earlier, this did give you a patient short. Maybe not just sitting on the offer, but look what happens when it bounces down, gives you a pullback, consolidates right around prior support, and then there is your dump off. Sometimes that's what we mean by patience. You'll see, I just heard Obi talk about this all the time, and he says front end, back end. That's the front end of the trade because it's screaming into your level. This is the back end of the trade because it's breaking a steep trend to the upside when it does this. So you break a steep trend, you consolidate underneath it, the break, and then you work the other way. This is, let's just stand in front of a moving freight train because it's getting to the price level we want and showed some selling in front of our resistance level. That's not enough, everybody. So patience, again, can matter. This is a case where on Alphabet at 160, it was like right around here, 164, when it was breaking out, someone said to me, Neil, aren't you shorting this level? Well, 165, yes. And if the reason you like something is zoom out and this, it's right in here, previous support, resistance, resistance, resistance. Look at the way that it traveled into it the last time it was big. You had to get a topping tail candle there, topping tail candle there, topping tail candles 3 days ago. Every time it's gotten close to the level that I want to short, there's been a topping tail candle for an entry point. So I know that it's got to do a consolidation with a break before I'm taking an entry to the downside on Alphabet. So you wait, it gets close, it gets close. You can fire that bullet in there and you might, maybe you're short here on the front end, great. You know, the pull's back like 30, 40 cents. Maybe that's your move. But the way I look at it, if you short this and it never sets up the topping tail, then you're short at the $0.50. It goes maybe 50 cents in the money. Then you're put to a decision at the even dollar if it doesn't set up. Are you adding here to go for a 75 price on more shares and then it breaks out the top without ever giving you a rollover at 165 or that topping tail candle? Then you're just stuck with a stock which is running higher and you're fighting it. In this case, be willing to miss that trade, to let it wick the high, set it up underneath the 165, catch it when it can't retake that high of the day, and that is your entry. That's what I mean about being patient. It's let the full thing set up if you can. Sometimes it's not an easy thing to do. I showed you on Tesla, I wasn't able to do it, and it's going to happen to all of us. Anybody that tells you they never get impatient, never make a FOMO trade, never chase a move, all those things, then they're just not being honest. We do them all the time. We try to limit them to a zero as much as possible, or as close to zero as much as possible. The other thing about being patient is sometimes you can get a little too patient. Don't get me wrong. But we talk about VWAP all the time. Sometimes being patient with an indicator or with a trend means look for confirmation, not just the line on the chart to hold. And what I mean in the last example of this is going to be Amazon. I wanted Amazon long in front of 175. Okay, well, why 175? Easy. This was the key support yesterday where it broke out from. 175 is a big round number. It's Friday. It's options day. Of course, we're going to like 175 if it gets down there. Doesn't. Holds this bottom here, kind of randomly just under 176. So if I want to join the trend, I want to see VWAP hold and then go from there. But if you just simply say, let's get long when it breaks a line on the chart, I feel like I don't have enough confirmation. What I want to see is this hold of VWAP. This is when it breaks. This is when it holds. Now I'm looking at it, wanting the long. Even then, a little bit more patience to see it try to break VWAP. And this is where I get the entry. When it tries to break VWAP and holds this same local high area just underneath the evens by 20 cents. Then it regains the evens. I throw my stop about 25, 30 cents down, depending on how the stock is moving. And that is your test of the low and the hold for the entry. Sometimes you want it to test that level before you jump into it. And it was a similar thing at VWAP the second time through on Amazon. Let it get down there, let it test underneath, let it hold underneath, let it start going into the upside. That's what we can mean about patience. Don't just necessarily sit there. You can too. That works as well sometimes. But if you want that extra patience for the confirmation, allow the buying to come into the move and then try to join it to the upside. So there's a difference between waiting for your price sometimes and waiting for it to set up and confirm at that price. If you can find that difference, then you'll be a much more patient trader, less blowouts, more confirmation of the move that you're looking to take, and ultimately that's what we all want here. What a booming market this is. Go Apple.
Thank you, Neil. With
Thank
that.
you,
Yeah,
Neil.
Definitely gotta pack your patience for sure, and
Absolutely.
for those moves to come in. Market is blasting up.
It is.
The upside in Adara. I feel like you are positioned quite well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm shout out to also Sean.
Almost 60, almost a point. Almost 60 pennies in the money on Nvidia.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm taking out a third of the position here at 124s. Basically, I mentioned this earlier. I like the idea of that VWAP hold, and I will say, I honestly, at first I was worried I was buying into a falling knife because as you can see here, when I got in here, we had a bit of a move down, but I was like, you know what, Adara, breathe, chill, it's fine. I had my area at 31s. We get to 31s. The second we fall into 31s, we bounce right back up. I was like, dope. Yes, NVIDIA. Okay, keep it coming. Then I added, once I saw that break above that previous kind of consolidation top there around 42s, around 50. So I added there, average of 41. I do want to get some out though, because we're really struggling to get above 124s. So I would like to eliminate some of that struggle. I'll be okay with that position size. But yeah, basically I want to see us kind of stay above the 63s area. Stay above 63s. I am pleased as punch. I'm willing to move that stop as we go. Palantir though, another long that I am pleased as punch about. I don't have a ton of this position left. I was kind of piecing it out as we went. I was willing to add a little bit here below 30s, but Palantir a little bit too strong. I'm like, Palantir, I'm not going to complain about you being strong. That's fine. I'll probably get out if we break the highs at 42s. I'm willing to get out. I had a nice little ride there with Palantir. Shout out to Alex Karp and co. Pleased as dang punch. Be more pleased as punch if we get that 124 NVIDIA break. But I think, like I said, this week was not my week. Oh, I had a big issue actually yesterday where I was like holding moves arguably for too long. My entries weren't very good. I was like, maybe the issue is I'm holding for too long. Maybe I need to go back to scalping. It's like sometimes you have to have like the right mindset for scalping, to being able to adapt and react, readapt, act. Shout out to Michael Scott from The Office, but also being able to kind of work with these moves. So that sometimes is what makes the difference. Just using your skill set, adapting your skill set, and trying to add a little bit more. That's something I've certainly been doing a lot with some of these earnings plays, which we'll get into when we do our little lesson du jour again. But I think one thing too is just being willing to kind of learn and grow as you go. So rant over. Happy with how this went. Meta also, I know, shout out to Joanna Brewster. I believe you were still in this. Meta pushing here. Wow, okay, we got a new high of day here in Palantir. Nice. Meta nicely above VWAP. Shout out to you, Joanna Brewster. This VWAP bounce is actually not a bad look here. 29.50. I am still in the money here in NVIDIA. We took some out here at 124, so I am pleased as dang punch. Next area, I believe we can get to 124.60s. I like that little chop and turn here in the 10-minute. Not a chart I usually trade off of, but I like it for now here. Okay, Palantir, let's see if we can, you know what, we're gonna take out some Palantir, but I do want to save a piece for the dream. Get some out here at 43s, just a cent above our previous high of day of 42s. What a time here. What a time to be alive, to shout out. Honestly, my least favorite Drake album. What a time to be alive. Meta here, apparently there's some news related to the geopolitical events. I'm gonna take a look on that. Thank you very much there. Also, guys, we have one of the most hawkish Feds talking today. Feds Goolsby. Also, Joanna Brewster in Meta from 516, so I'm sure you're pleased as punch. We're up at 530. IWM, nice little VWAP breakout long. I was considering that, but I was like, Adair, you've got your hands in way too many pies. Stick with the pies you have. No more pies for you. But I see you are involved in a food-related name here, this Chipotle reversion.
Yeah, potential reversion coming in here. Sorry, the chart did a bit of a crash there. Let me pull up Tesla again. The Tesla stopped out back through that 216. So that long is still strong. And take a look at the market, man. The market is blasting to the upside there as of right now. So got to keep an eye on that. Let's see what we do with this 216s. 214, 216 is definitely an interesting area. We dipped down to 214s, 214 halves, and then now we're picking right back up. So let's see. A bit of a potential reversion on Chipotle is what I'm looking for. A reversion to VWAP. Again, on the 15-minute, it's looking a little bit interesting here. Yeah, we'll see how that one kind of pans out. But yeah, reasons to buy showing up back to back on Tesla here off of that 214. Sean, you still have that long?
Tesla and
Okay, he just got out of Tesla and Nvidia right there. So nice little trade there, over about 2 points in the money for that one, 214 halves to 216 halves as of right now. But take a look at this ticker, Adara. Alta looking a little beautiful here on the day.
Good fun.
Trending to the upside and then expanding volume as we make higher highs, kind of pushing fresh highs on the day as well. So let's see. Is that earnings? Is that earnings? No, that is not. Oh no, this was the someone like bought it up or something.
Yeah,
right?
there was a buying, I believe, from Berkshire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Berkshire buying up Alta. So today is technically day 2 of that catalyst, and we're catching a bit of a bid that has broken above prior day's highs, prior day's pre-market highs, though 384.39 as of right now. So let's see how that one comes in. But Alta to the upside, trending, holding VWAP as well, right off of the open. So VWAP buying happening off of the open once again at 950. So going into 10, and then once more off of this little consolidation for about 15, 20 minutes here from 10:40 to 11 o'clock there. But yeah, Alta to the upside. Are you guys trading Alta Beauty today? Because yeah, that trend is definitely looking a little bit beautiful on the day. Alta is really going, says John. Yeah, Buffett bought it. Yep, Buffett bought Alta earlier, or he said that he bought it, and then the volume comes in after the buying has been done. But yeah, let's see what Alta kind of has in store for us today. I'm looking for the next trade, guys, and I'm not really seeing too much as of right now. VWAP holding on Tesla, looking nice as of right now. Let's see if we can hold and continue to the upside. Maybe some reversion. Apple still pushing high of day, not only high of day, high of week as well. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Do you guys see anything? You guys see anything that aligns with your playbook? I like reversions. I like trends. I got to do a little bit better with, but reversions I like. Yeah, no, trends are dope as well. Price action, consolidation, breakouts, breakdowns, trend breaks, lick grabs. I like the lot. So let us know in the chat again. Hundreds of eyes are better than 2 or 4 as of right now. So yeah, let's see if you guys see anything that I'm not seeing, because I know for a fact that I see nothing and I know nothing. So let's see what you guys come up with. Bit of a wicking action there. So prior highs underneath VWAP here, 216 halves. We just popped above into some 216 halves. We just popped above and pulling back in. So let's see if the market can take a little bit of a turn. But oh boy, that 19 half double bottom, wick bottom on the NASDAQ. And then we go for highs there as well right after that kind of price action coming in. So interesting stuff nonetheless. JD saying nader. So let's take a quick look at JD. Did they have earnings recently? I think so, right?
They had earnings yesterday.
Yeah.
Baba.
So today is day 2 of their earnings. Yeah, a bit of a hold, gap up above prior day's highs, and look at that continuation. We talk about, again, earnings plays. So I guess it's a good time to kind of go back to reviewing some of the earnings that have happened, right? So we talk about earnings day 1, day 2. JD, prime example, nice little reaction to earnings coming in. We've been trending into earnings over the week, kind of coming into it as well. And day 2. You don't even print any of these prices. You actually close as I look at this consolidation low, support at 27s. You open up today above prior day's highs, above earnings reaction high as well. Off of the open, take a look at that action that comes in, holding VWAP, opening range high break as well, pre-market high breaks as well. Again, bit of a continuation push on JD here giving you about 70 pennies-ish off of that opening, more than 70 pennies off the opening price. But again, kind of if you're kind of chasing into it, taking the breakout of a maybe 5-minute or a 3-minute opening range, you're getting 50 to 70 pennies on that push, continuation push. But again, that gap up above yesterday's highs is definitely a little significant there on JD earnings day 2. Let's see. So I also had another ticker, kind of similar to Walmart, that was pushing its all-time highs or attempting to push its all-time highs. It's New Holdings. Again, today is day 3 of earnings, and off of earnings, pretty strong pullback. Again, I don't know what it's going to do off of earnings, but take a look at this. The bid coming into earnings, very, very strong. Also, some relative volume happening near some of these lows. So again, if the bid is real, where will it catch? And it caught just in and around some of these prior days. But yeah, talk about a bit of a pull up back through that earnings reaction low, coming in as a trend reversion as well, holding VWAP. So again, looking at this with different perspectives. If you're looking for the continuation short, because we're kind of holding this, that doesn't really work. It only gives you a little bit of a pullback, but makes a higher low relative to pre-market lows. And look at that expanding relative volume as well coming in off of the open there. So these were, I think this was all-time highs on Nucor, if I'm not mistaken. If we just pull back right there, so yeah, look at that. Is this IPO? Maybe perhaps above 1220s right there. Prior highs as well here, just above that 1360. So yeah, Nucor comes in on day 1, 1360s. Do break in the pre-market, we pull back in, and we kind of revert back into that level, and we're pushing those highs, fresh highs again, all-time highs on New Holdings as of right now, trending up very cleanly right off of the open, breaking this consolidation high from prior day at 14s as well. So nice little trend on Nucor. Talk about continuation. You might not get that on day 1, day 2 perhaps, day 3 as well, in and around earnings. Again, relative volume coming in on that day 1, and sometimes even a little bit before, maybe potentially people getting in for the earnings report as well. So Tesla looking like it's potentially coming right back in. Oh boy, what's happening here? Maybe I want to dabble a little bit once again in this one. What do you got going on, Adara?
Yeah, I'm eyeing Tesla 216. Got out of both of my longs there. Really happy with what happened. Basically, NVIDIA we got below 124. I said, Adara, don't see what we do at 123.90s. We can't hold 123.90s. Get out. We couldn't. I got out. Took like 50 cents there with that position. I'm pleased as punch. I will say, I like that we bounced here off 73s on the 5-minute. I kind of a random level, but there is some kind of bounce. Should I get back in? But like I said, I don't want to get back in just to get back in. This happened with Microsoft. To be clear, I did like the level, but like I said, I had some qualms, so I really shouldn't have gotten in there. You know, as they say in courts of law, you want to be beyond a reasonable doubt if that person is guilty or innocent. So no false convictions on this desk. Make sure you have conviction, you stick to it. First time I hit that of the day. But Microsoft here, so strong. I had this long, did not give it enough risk. Isn't it so funny when you get out like bottom wick? Isn't that like, feels so good? No, I'm joking. All jokes aside, Microsoft, nice little uptrend. Meta, still strong as well. All these Meg 7s are just continuing to be mega. But there was something there in,
Okay.
I like this Meta view up.
Yeah. The reversion happened. Now it's
right?
playing the view up. Yeah.
And you could risk this into 529 because 529 was a huge area of support resistance flip. I don't want to hop into Meta just for the sake of hopping into Meta. I want to look at some different time frames here. Shout out though again to Joanna Brewster in the chat. Long Meta from 526. Great look there for you. You are a cool $4 club there. But Amazon, I know an old friend of yours, Long in the chat, indeed. Oh boy, was asking about what my thoughts on Amazon range. I don't know if it's a range as much as there are certain levels I like. And one thing I've said is I feel like the fact that I was almost exclusively range trading for a while, I still like to use elements of that for support resistance because in essence, that's what ranges are, right? They're different areas of support and resistance, ping-ponging across the room from one another, right? Table tennising. So with that in mind, there are 3 levels I really like on Amazon that we continue to hit. Albeit not every time, albeit not in a perfect range, but look at these levels here. I have 3 of them and you see them on a couple different time frames. Bottom here is this 177.40. You can see this is a bit of a chop and chart here. Look at that beautiful VWAP bounce there. We had some rejection there earlier and a little bit of support as well heading into 10 a.m. Now, there's an obvious, what looks like might be a triple top here, this 178.20. So in between those, you've got about 80-cent range if you're looking at this wider range. This is the clear top, that being the clear bottom. But there's an even more interesting level in the middle that we hit quite frequently in multiple time frames, and that's that 177.70s. Look at this. A little bit of rejection here heading into 10. Then we find just gorgeous support here. I'm just using the 3-minute because I think these levels are clearest in the 3-minute. But look at all the support we get at this level. Drop back below, we find resistance at the bottom, we find support at the bottom there of that range. Come back higher, rest at our new support area, and pop above. Now, Amazon is not a stock I am super adept at trading. I am not, Obi, definitely more of an Amazon trader than myself. However, if we bounced here off the support level, or off this resistance, if we switch it to support, it's so clean, it's hit so many times, I'd be interested in that. Meta, though, if I don't want to force myself into any trades. I'm happy with the trades I took earlier. But if Meta comes and bounces off 530, that's not a bad look for me. I definitely prefer it, I think, to Amazon. That being said, though, Oxlon, just to answer your question, I do think there is a range, but I think there's kind of more micro ranges going on here, too. Also, we've got PLTR. I got out here about 20 pennies away from where we are now. We broke below 40s. I got out. Still happy with this trade. Initially, had the short, didn't work out, flipped to the long, took some decent size in this Canadian average in and out. And then we made new highs. The thing is, you cannot FOMO. I do not want to have any fear of missing out. I'm just happy I took profit. Instead of FOMO, maybe it's joy of taking JOT-P. You have to go from FOMO to JOT-P, joy of taking profit. So I've got some JOT-P over here. That sounded better in my head. In Palantir and NVIDIA, trying not to get into too many trades, but also to mention kind of day one earnings. Oh, we got Disney, some mentions of Disney here. Disney slow with the 20-day daily 20 MA. Could really pop if it breaks free here, says Ian Gatner. Let's see if it let it go of that level. Pretend that was grammatically correct. But DIS here, this is another earnings one from last. Oh, a lot of pushbacks today, but the market keeps giving me reasons to do that. Look at, lots of topping tail candles here in the 10-minute, but like higher highs, higher lows, beautiful little roundy bottom here, really similar to what we saw in Ulta actually before that one had that beautiful breakout. But with Disney here too, you've got some decent support at 89.40s. One level 2 on Disney that I like that we haven't danced with a while was that high 88s, because that was a level on earnings. Let me look here at the daily chart though to kind of show you guys with Disney earnings, because Disney is one of those ones we talked about day ones and day twos. Disney gave you a great day one. Disney did not give you much of a day two and a day three as someone who was trading Disney earnings there. So let's take a look back at that DIS chart. I don't want to be dissing Disney, but it just didn't give you that great day two or day three move here for the D to the I to the S. Let's see if my daily chart will load here. Currently here at 89s on Disney. But yeah, with Disney, so Disney definitely on day one earnings here, which was going to be, that was a week ago, Wednesday. So we're looking for the 7th, August 7th here. Yeah, I'm going to full screen this so I can see the levels I want to see. 7th, yes, so you have that big move down here on Disney, but also what was interesting too is we had that move down and we had some play with some levels. So one of the biggest levels in Disney, like I said, that 88th level, that was a bit of a level on the daily chart, right? We had a little bit of a lower low. We had holding support there, a couple candles. Once we broke below that, we broke, right? So we had that move down there. And as you can see here, day 2 and day 3 in Disney were pretty stagnant, not too much going. Now you push back higher and we have that bounce into 88s, which as I said, was that pretty key level. Once we broke below that in earnings, we said sayonara. Now Disney trying to say hello again to that 88 level, back bouncing off the 90 MA. So again, just a way that earnings levels can come in from previous levels on the day, but also when you have a retest, when you come back into those levels we broke on earnings, that could be interesting as well. Hopefully that makes sense. That's my take on Disney earnings. Willis Addison, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Pleased with my GOVX entry, 338. Starter position, little salute emoji and charts emoji. So yeah, GeoVax, we know, GOVX, I feel like I had GeoVax on my tickers to watch list for some reason today. I don't know why that was the case. GOVX here, interesting little look. Loads. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so many pushbacks. But I mean, look at this beautiful range here that we broke out of. I always give a pushback for ranges. We bounce here off 533s. This is a beautiful look. Look at that honestly strong volume here for TOVX. Like we're currently having a volume candle of 2.25 million shares, and that's not even close to our highest candle of the day. So one of the biggest issues, and I know Sharif, as someone who trades small caps, a lot has talked about this, volume, right? Lots of volume here in this GOVX. I like this look. And I mean, if you got involved at 338, you are a cool over $2 in the money there. Shout out to you, Willis Addison. How are you doing over here?
Not too bad, not too bad. That CMG is actually coming in. Bit of a bid catching there on CMG off of the lows. Let's see if we can get to VWAP, right? We did break the trend as of right now, and it is catching a little bit of a bid. We have market tailwind as well on our side, but taking a bit of a pullback on top of this 19.6. Let's see what we got going on here. ES pulling back off of 55.75 as well. So yeah, just kind of watching some of these positions potentially come in here. Tesla, it's kind of consolidating in and around VWAP, so I'm going to keep that one a little tighter there. But CMG working for now. But again, yeah, just looking for the next trade. Nothing too crazy, guys. Like again, it is the midday session. Nothing too crazy as of right now. But again, if things kind of come in and fall into my lap, I'm more than willing to participate and kind of take those trades. But as of right now, I don't really see too much here. CMG happened to work out there. It is pushing 5260s. Excuse me, VWAP here at 5280s on CMG. We don't have as VWAP here, 5275. So in and around the same area here, 5280s, 5275 on CMG. Let's see if we can get there. Only about 20 pennies away from there as it's trading it's trading 60s. Okay, so we're only about 10 pennies away from there. I got to keep an eye on that one. See if those VWAP sellers come back in on the day, as CMG has had VWAP sellers pretty much all day. The first time we're kind of pulling back into it after we've pulled off of it quite aggressively on the day, selling off from 53s to 52.2s. If you look back at it, kind of some support levels here as well. Day one off of that flush, we hold 52s as high of days on day one off that flush. So we're bouncing off of that. So maybe a potential resistance turned into support after some strong selling coming into the day. Just taking it for a ride up into VWAP if it can even get there. But again, got to keep a close eye on this to see if, again, they've been stepping in a little further than VWAP, and we're a little further than VWAP as of right now. So I definitely have to keep a close eye on that, see if that's actually coming in, or we kind of push further if those sellers have lifted, is what I'm trying to say as of right now. So that's what I have going on here. Incredible Lib asking thoughts on Rocket Labs. So let's see what Rocket Labs is up to as of right now. RKLB, Adara saying that it is rocketing right now. Wow, okay, so yeah, definitely some rocketing, pushing up on increasing relative volume and volume as well, breaking through earnings reaction highs as well. So again, different ways to trade price action off of earnings. It doesn't necessarily have to be day one, day two, but again, we talk about significant volume being traded on those days, and take a look at what happens after we break some of those levels here. We broke it into the close yesterday, and Rocket Lab, continuation, pre-market low holds, pre-market high breaks, and we're trading much higher now, actually pushing high of day. As of right now, only about 5 pennies below that. 710s high a day, 705s printing right now on Rocket Lab. So that is definitely a rocket to the upside as of right now. Rocket Lab USA, let's go. Scalper J with the super chat saying, you are all the best. Adara, Sean, morning show. Let's make it happen. You'll have a great weekend. That would be dope. That would be pretty dope.
I don't know if everyone would enjoy the level of enthusiasm that would be there, but I mean, I'm down. You know, I do a morning show with Sean. We do the market recap together. I think that'd be a fun time. So it's been put out there. The feeler has been put out there. Yeah, from one sometimes scalper to another. There's Scalper Day. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat.
Let's go.
For that. Also, you know what you should do with CMG to get it to move? You should do what former CEO Brian Nichols said that you want if you want more portions of your bowl and just give it a little look.
Give it a little look.
A little look.
Record with my camera, like be like I'm,
like you're like a TikToker, just like give it a little look. Anyone who
and
hasn't
it gives
seen
me
the
that little bit
video-
of extra,
Yeah, if you want a little bit of an extra portion.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't seen the video of Brian Nickel talking about portion sizes for CMG, highly recommend you look it up. It is endlessly entertaining. It is really funny to me, and that was honestly how I was introduced to this man. And now every time I trade Starbucks too, now I'll probably be like, oh, a little bit of. But yeah, he does the look too that you should be giving the people who work at Chipotle, so it's pretty funny there. But also, Sean's continuing to say, anyone want this with Sean and I in the morning show? I'm down.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Too much energy for me.
I feel like Sean's like, maybe we don't want this. I mean, I'm down. I think it would be fun. But I think it'd be fun if NVIDIA wants to have that 124 breakout. I got back into this because I saw some people in the chat talking about NVIDIA can't break 124. That's why I got out of the long initially. However, then I see all of these bottoming tail candles, just gorgeous. We've got the Q still trying to push higher. We've got this 90 EMA support. I took a pretty small position here, 123.90s, risking here into this 123.75, so risking about 15 pennies. I'm going to be adding if we get to 124s and push above, because honestly, to me, this looks like a bull flag. Look at that crazy support at VWAP. We've got that confluence, sorry to steal Obi's word there, but we've got that confluence with the beautiful Qs. We have that push up here on the 90 MA, and we've honestly held this 90s level really well. Since I've gotten in, we kind of broke below once, dropped about 10 pennies, then we came right back up and bounced. Like I said, not adding till I see my confirmed 124 breakout. In terms of profit takers, I'm still eyeing that 124.60 because of that beautiful bottoming tail candle. If we get to that 124.60, that'll be where I'm cool taking out at least some of the position, if not all of it. Let's see if the buyers get their 124. Okay, so if we hold above 124s here, I'll be adding. Let's try to add 124.02s. Let's do it. I'm going to be adding here. Let's get going here, NVIDIA. Let's go to the upside. Yeah, this might be a lot of energy if Sean and I did a morning show. That might actually be a lot. I wouldn't mind, but, because I would love to be able to be a big kahuna. Like as Sharif said, because someone asked once, like, is Obi a big kahuna too? He's on the morning show a lot, and Sharif did give his blessing. Sharif said you are. But I'm like, it'd be nice to kind of join that club. Anyways, all jokes aside, pardon? Oh, yeah. Vibes. Good times there. Lots of people apparently, two people said they're okay with that morning show. So good times there. NVIDIA long still, says Vicky on Novak. I bet you are pleased as punch. Happy I got back in. I don't think I'll be able to get my ad here just above 124s, but I don't want to chase this. Let's see if we hold above 124.10s. If we do, I'm okay with adding at 124.10s. Like, bit of a 10-cent chase here. But let's see what goes on here with this NVDA. If we can come back and bounce off that 124.10s, I would like all the smoke. Again, still happy I have some shares. As Sharif sometimes says, you're always going to be angry as a trader. I'm not angry about this position. We're 30 pennies in the money on NVDA, right? Like, could not be happier. And it's not what I've traded in a while either, but there's always things you could want more. You also always as well, want to do your aggressive journaling, do your reflecting, figure out why the trades worked, why they didn't, how you can make them work better here. But let's see if NVIDIA gives us that 124.10 bounce. Vicky Novak saying, please as punch in this trade. ASPN says, Sosten Martinez. Let's see how this ASPN is going here. Let me look up. I feel like I've heard this before. Ned Desart saying the time is to chase. We pump bigly. Yeah, we do. I mean, Q's popping higher here, slightly positive on the day. And no one's wearing green today, Obi. And we're still positive on the day. Like, I know there was a joke.
I'm wearing a little bit of red, but that's... Okay, so so Tesla again. It was a little short bias here. Tesla coming in, and take a look at this CMG. CMG's went to VWAP. We went to 70s there. I got a little piece off there. So yeah, nice little 30, 40 penny pop for a reversion into VWAP here. Let's see how it comes in. Let's see if we can push those 70s. But yeah, nice little. Well, it didn't get all the way to VWAP, but that's again. Not going to be looking for perfect price action there. VWAP would be nice, but again, we start popping into some of those levels. So I do want to start piecing off a little bit here as of right now, just trying to stay nimble. If we're going to get some resistance coming into VWAP, don't necessarily want to be involved with as much coming in. So let's see. Maybe we take a little bit of a break. Maybe we take some more higher lows into it. So yeah, I'm going to piece off of, I guess more than half right there. Tesla, let's see what Tesla is up to as of right now. Still holding in and around that VWAP, right? What is VWAP here? 216.25s. We're trading 216.20s right now. My average, surprise, surprise, 216.26. I find myself more often than not being the moving average or being the VWAP. Again, I don't know how great that is if you're trying to trade reversion. If you are the average, more than likely, just the probability of coming back to break even becomes high. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what that will have in store for us. Bit of a lick grab of some prior levels here, but trending off of that 214 halves. Again, we observe some reasons to buy for Tesla there in and around some of those levels, and we did retrace all the way back into VWAP, and VWAP is kind of holding as of right now. So yeah, take a look at this pullback, heavy little pullback here on CMG. So I'm going to take off some more there and just leave on the last little bit to see if it can give me a chance to get more, right? So I wasn't not looking for too much, not asking for too much here, but let's see if it kind of holds some of these levels and pulls back in here. 216 still holding, oh boy, on this Tesla move today. So what are you guys trading today? I'm curious to know. Lots of things moving around quite nicely. This week has been absolutely wild. Have you been overall long throughout this week? Because that's been really working. Have you been swinging the long off of last Monday? Because that's been really working, right? I'm curious to know how some of these options come in today, coming into the end of the day. What we do with a lot of the options volume that's been done over the past week, this week, last week as well. Should be interesting, but let's see what else is on board. Sing, a lot of people talking about CING. Yeah, so that's one of the tickers on the day today that is moving around quite significantly, and it's a party as well. Oh boy, look at that, 18s. You guys on this? On the CING? This thing is definitely like a low float pusher. It is, what were you saying? It is singing?
It's singing to the upside.
It's singing to the upside of there. I like that one. Nice. Yeah, 19's coming in. Oh boy, on this one. So a little bit of a squeeze action. Maybe some trapping here happening on day one, right? 500 trapping. The trapping is happening here on the sing, and sing to the upside, squeezing action. So you guys long? Adam Lulu saying mostly long this week due to momentum and price action recently after the sharp pullback last Monday. Yes. Kevin82 saying ASTS game be my best gains for the week. Yeah, ASTS definitely bouncing quite nicely on those moves there. Let's see. I guess Ari Pages has a question for you, Adair.
Oh. She tagged you as well, or they tagged you as well here, I think. How many trades do you average a day, do you think? When I was hard scalping, it was like sometimes over 100. There were a lot of fills happening. I have cut back a little bit, to be fair, because a lot of my strategies piecing in and out, I still have a good amount of fills. I would say it's above 50. And I find the days that I get shut down or that I'm not doing as well, those are days I have less fills. So for me, more fills on a good day. What about you? Would you say like your average amount of like trades or fills or whatever?
Mine is all over the place. As you guys know, like I like to trade just a few tickers. If I'm being aggressive like this, maybe I have a lot more fills, which count as trades, ins and outs. But yeah, no, I think sometimes I average maybe it's crazy. Some of my best days, I have the least amount of fills. Maybe I should learn something from that.
So you and I have like the opposite then.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it's just, again, like usually they're very precise entries and exits. I don't take too many fills, maybe trading with the trend or trading a reversion, which is also kind of a trend reversal going into a trend. Yeah, no, sometimes things work out well. So sometimes as little as 30 to 40 entries, but sometimes a lot more. Like right now, I'm sitting at 56 trades, so that it counts every in and out as one trade. So 56 executions, you can call it.
I'm 46 right now.
Yeah, so that can range. Sometimes it's hundreds, right? Sometimes it's like 200-300 executions, but I'm like, wow, that's a lot of decisions to be making. I'm trying to make less decisions, higher quality, but let's see how that kind of works out in the long term. But I guess that is the goal. Efficient executions is definitely the goal here. 216 holding as of right now here on Tesla. Sing still absolutely crazy chart, blasting to the upside. So congratulations on those traders who have been singing along with Singulet Inc. today there with that kind of price action there. Oscarito saying Rocket Labs up 19%. Yeah, Rocket Labs, we just checked that one as well. That one crazy move there as well, but maybe not as strong as that Sing. That Sing definitely has a lot more oomph to its price action today. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I got out of NVIDIA flat. We broke below 124. That 124, I know we wicked as higher as 124.30s, but to me, the area that I'm not getting back involved till I see what we do here, if I were to go long, 124.20. The way we just sat at 124.20, like I've been watching the book long enough now on stocks, like that to me was significant. That was, to use an OBism, distinctly different. We just sat there. We just chilled. We dropped. And I was like, if we can get back above 124.20, hold, I'll add there. That was how strong that level was. I felt if we broke above it, it would be a nice place to add. And then NVIDIA was like, nah, I'm good. Now, why am I not getting back in the long now that we're above 124s? Because honestly, to me, I don't like that. The fact that we have these like this big old red candle here, I want to see a little bit more. Like I said, 124.20, I trust not even a little bit over here. But I got out basically flat for that position, exactly flat, pretty much 124s on the average position, got out. Also, there's some funny comments there in the chat. We had Darwin going $, boy, so I guess two tickers there. Rivian Millionaire also pointing out BOI and OBI, I guess being a bit of an anagram there. So interesting, like, I guess boy. But yeah, so shout out there. I get a kick out of these comments. What else? PDD 1 minute candle, wow, says bow. Yeah, PDD actually reporting the week after next. I believe a lot of these ADRs have been, definitely making some moves there, that is for sure. We had JD earnings yesterday, Alibaba earnings also yesterday. PDD 1 minute candle. Oh yeah, okay, wow. We had this beautiful push up here, coming right back down. This PDD, much like a lot of names, trying to do a midday breakout. It was interesting. Someone in the chat yesterday pointed out like a lot of breakouts don't necessarily happen midday, so maybe they're not the type of trades to be looking for. The last couple of days, they're actually it's been a little bit of a different trend in the market, so interesting stuff here. What's also interesting is I mentioned this, I always have the SPY book open, without a doubt. I rotate my side charts, and I appreciate Obi for showing out the side charts earlier, because I was at one point like, do I have too many side charts? But no, I think you want to have as good of a view as the market as you can, right? I have mentioned though, SPY, I've been trying to only trade in one of two situations. A, if it's a whole dollar breakdown, break up, whatever, or B, there's a specific level I like that I've watched in the book that I feel good about. I had that reversion short in the SPY that worked out well a couple of days ago because I'd watched that in the book and I was like, if we fail this, we fail this, right? But other than that, I only want my whole dollar breaks. If I try to take anything else in the SPY, I just find I don't know how to trade it effectively. That being said, we're near 554 in the SPY. I don't have a direction on this yet. It looks kind of bullish right now. We do have these two bottoming tail candles, but I want to see the shakeout here. I'll also be watching the SPY as we get Fed's ghouls be rolling around at 125. One of the more notoriously hawkish Feds, because like you said, ghoul, he's scaring away the bulls, I guess. I don't know. Him and Kashkari, shout out to Neil Kashkari. Loretta Mester also used to be one of the more hawkish Feds, but now she's being replaced by Beth Hammock. Shout out to our new Fed member here. But interesting look here. Paris versus Bull smiling, saying she likes the SPY. Yeah, I really do like the SPY. I've been, trying to be Spider Woman there. Really terrible pun. Trader Leah also saying I always scalp indices. Yeah, I shout out to that because honestly, I find when I try to hold them for any kind of move, it doesn't work. You get, and that's, I think, also why I said I had to stop trading the TQs, or I've been trading a lot less reliant on trading the TQs, because with it being a little bit more levered, you kind of forget, you're like, oh, this is still in indices. At least I kind of feel like I forgot, and then I would make kind of bad decisions there. That being said, I like this breakdown here, this 544. I'm going to be risking this into 544 10s, 544 12s here. I like what I saw in the book around that level. We can't really get above that point. Are we above the 9 EMA? Yeah. Is this our first retest of this level? Not necessarily, but I like this 554 here. I'm willing to see what we do as we push lower. Also, interestingly enough, I know the SPY and the Qs don't have to move the same way, but they have been kind of similar lately, and the Qs got a skosh of a topping tail candle, if I can find the NQ here. So let's pull this up. On the 5 minute chart here, you can see this look at this here, this kind of topping tailish action here at 575.80. So interesting look there. Let's see how this SPY goes. And how are you enjoying your meal at Chipotle over there, Obi?
It is quite nice. We kind of dipped back into 50s and 60s, and we're ripping right back up into 68. So maybe we do get that VWAP test. I was sitting at 75 Yeah, no, Fabian's saying not giving me the runs. No, it is the one doing the running right now. Back to VWAP here. So let's see. I was sitting at 75s, but because of this price action, I kind of moved out of the way there. Let's see if we can actually get into the 80s as of right now, or are we making lower highs there on Chipotle? Chipotle, bit of a sell-off into 52. Again, looking at day one of when we got that little sell-off when CEO switch up from CMG to Starbucks. We got that a significant move on both names, right? So 52 was high of day or like end of day. It kind of sold off and then reverted a lot of the move, and then it pushed into that 52, and 52 was a bit of resistance. And then now today on a strong sell, again, at the end of the week, coming in as a bit of support with the trend break confluence, with a bit of confluence with market tailwind as well. Here come the 70s. Let's see what CMG has in store for us. And I gotta be so much bigger on these trades, man. Like I'm like, yeah, wait for them to fall into your lap, and then you don't take appropriate size on the trades that seem like, oh, okay, well, you know, this is too straightforward. And you're just like, yeah, that's something I do have to work on again. Again, progress definitely being made slowly but steadily, but we shall see. Wow, take a look at that. Like, nice little squeezy action. This green candle is it has probably the most range. Well, that candle right there. Oh boy, okay. Here we go, 52.77s, 42 pennies. But again, like I said, I'm only holding on to just a little bit there. Not even that much, not even as much as I had before, way less than half. But yeah. It is what it is. Where's the next trade? That's what I'm looking at. I'm kind of staring at this Tesla here. Potentially looking to stop me out, but we'll see. We're more than willing to get back involved as well.
I like that, like not being afraid of if a stock stops you out to just get back in, right? Or sometimes look at it in a different direction, play it in a couple different ways. I think that's one thing I'm really trying to learn from. Wish I had done that more. Microsoft, which like I said, I basically flat out here. We had those nice shorts that I got back in the short, even though I was like, well, Adara, I don't know. The Qs are, but at the time the Qs were pushing lower, Microsoft was pushing higher, so I said no. And then it was like, oh, well, now they're both pushing lower. Moral of the story is, you know, and then we try to go long and then we get stopped out bottom wick. The moral of the story is sometimes, you know, you can't be too hard on yourself. Just be willing to adapt and to switch things up here. I like this 419 hold on Microsoft. I'm just trying not to trade too many names. The issue is there's so many things moving, so many things giving you opportunities. And that's where I think one thing too, I'm curious as to if you have an answer for this, Obi. How do you curb, I guess FOMO is not the right word, maybe it is. How do you curb like the urge to like, how do you narrow it on the right charts and the right opportunities for you when you have so many things moving in markets like this?
That's a good question. I think that's something I'm trying to get better at as well. And I think Neil covered this well during the midday, just an hour ago. With Neil's lesson of the day. Again, patience, kind of practicing patience and doing things that help with practicing patience. Now, that's something that's clearly a skill that I need to develop as I was not patient and I was also stubborn. So a deadly combination there on that Tesla. So Tesla did stop me out right here for about a quarter. I did build into it, well, not quite nicely, but a little bit uncomfortably, but that's fine. We'll take more if it comes back in, but we're doing a little bit of a wick action of these prior highs there as well. So let's see if that's just a quick little stop out for a continuation to the downside. Again, we've gone a little bit sideways. The market is, again, I'm working against market tailwind here with the short on Tesla. Tesla VWAP can definitely be a little choppy, churny, and a little bit competitive. So I do have to keep that in mind. But yeah, no, Tesla pulling right back in. So let's see what we do with VWAP here. Again, VWAP sitting at 116.25.
Yeah, I know this is that's certainly an interesting look there. There's been I think the patience thing is really key. Something I'm trying to work on there. Best of luck there in that Tesla beep to the downside. Hopefully the Cybertruck drives over some of those bulls. No, I'm just joking. Hope everybody prints in the world. I just wanted to make a pun. Name the gain you're saying stuck at EBS. I'm not saying EBS halted. Not that I can see here anyway. So. Let us know what you mean by that. Right now, EBS actually holding some decent support here at this 10 level. Definitely far from highs. And if Shreve's talked about his small cap rules. This one is below VWAP, though. It has broken above the pre-market highs. So not a bad look here for EBS right now. NVIDIA, though, I said I was not touching NVIDIA as a long again till I saw what we did at 124.20. Now I want to see us bounce here off the book. If we bounce here off the book, I'm willing to take this and risk into 124s. as we get the cues trying to push higher here. I don't mind this look at all. And I actually do like this action here in the book. So we're going to see if 21 can do something for us here on N to the V to the D to the A. Let's go. I don't want to be scared because one thing too, like, and I know I've had this issue where sometimes you have a profitable trade in a name, Microsoft today, and then you just run it into the ground, right? Okay, that's a bit dramatic with Microsoft. It is what it is. But the point I'm trying to make is like I'm sometimes a little bit more hesitant to get back in names that I've already had scheduled trades on for that reason. But if something sets up and if you follow your rules for it, you have no reason not get in. My issue with Microsoft is I knew I should have waited on that second short because I was like, well, you know, we're not doing the same thing as the Qs. But then the second I saw a tiny little bit of confluence for what I wanted, I was like, oh, this has to be the time to get in. That was not the right decision. And so I think it goes back to what Obi and Neil were saying about patience. Because as Bears versus Bulls sometimes says in the chat, PAY, patience. So I think, you know, patience pays, patience.
For sure it does, yeah.
Let's see if this pays in NVIDIA. We're currently 10 cents in the money. If we get that nice bounce here off that 124.30 is clearly an area of resistance. I'm willing to add a little bit here. Like I said, I still am eyeing 124.60s as a profit-taking area. Let's go here. Let's add a little bit at that 31 area. Also, we have Rivian Millionaire asking what the plus join between us. Is this Trend to Ticker, the trading turtle? She's had quite the saga there with Sharif, where Sharif, I guess, was bad-mouthing her. And then we had Ramin take her away. There was a restraining order, Trenda issuing a restraining order against Sharif, but now Trenda is back. And she had this little note as well a couple of days ago. I'm back. Clearly, y'all need me in the markets crying because I ran away. Pamp it, baby. Trenda's back. So that is just addressing Trend to Ticker, the trading turtle. So I guess maybe she's the reason that the market came back. I don't know. All jokes aside, though, yeah, that is the deal with Trenda. Let's see what we've got here with NVDA. We got above 30s. If we keep seeing this bounce above 20s, I'm really cool staying involved in this name. Like I said, I think I'm happy I waited till we got that move up above 20s because if I had gotten right involved, like, you know, basically right as we held 124s again, still would have been profitable, but I wouldn't have felt good about it because I didn't follow my rules. If I was skittish about 124.20s in the first place in NVIDIA, why am I getting involved before I see that move? So happy I waited is the moral of that long story. Meta is another one I've kind of had eyes on, though not to the same extent that I've been watching, say, like, like NVIDIA here. Oh, Meta below the 90 MA now. That 529, like I said, was a level I found really interesting. We bounced off here. I don't necessarily want to short Meta here, but the spread is gorgeous. If I did, I would probably be risking to 530s. 530 just slightly above VWAP. We know that's been a level, but I don't want to be doing anything till I'm out of this NVDA. NVDA popping higher here, but I just think basically the moral of the story here is I think it's interesting that we have Meta coming up into some clear resistance at VWAP as the Qs push into highs. Things that make you go, So I just want to definitely reflect on that. We're going to be getting just under half of this position out if we get to 58s or just above 60s on this NVDA as we try to push higher on that. But yeah, I just think it's always interesting. One thing that Neil said to me really early when I began sitting at this desk trading in the sim that I've really always remembered is if you have things moving in the opposite direction of the rest of the market, that in and of itself is a sign, right? And that's, you know what I mean? That's something I've really, really tried to learn from there. So with that in mind, Meta, I mean, obviously it's still strong on the, it's not strong on the, it's still like down 1.4%. Meta had that beautiful move up though. It had that gorgeous reversion. Shout out to Joanna Brewster again for being involved in that. But now we have it below the 90 MA. We've had certainly, like, we're not as strong as we were as we have the Qs pushed it into new highs. So I think that's something worth noting, something I'm always going to be cognizant of. Do I want to be involved in two stocks as wonderfully wild as NVIDIA and Meta at the same time? Not necessarily. So we're going to wait and see what this NVDA does. But I'm cognizant of that Meta as we push into VWAP. This could be an interesting one. Also, Erie Page is asking us in the chat how long we were in the sim before going live. I was in the sim for a while here. I ended up leaving the sim around April. I got started in September, so just over 6 months. And I think it was because you like the safety of the sim, but I think I realized I've taken the trading. I thought I was taking the trading seriously in the sim, but you take it way more seriously when you've got real money on the line. You're able to develop yourself in a different way. So shout out to Real Trading, which has this awesome sim I was really able to learn through. Also, shout out to Conviction. I waited until I had the confidence or the confidence or whatever to get involved in that video till we had that 124.20s. Happy we did. Had the conviction there. Shout out to Law & Order Conviction, which is a real Law & Order show, unfortunately. But it's also shout out to Conviction, like the belief in yourself, the belief in your trading, because if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in yourself for you? Yep. You know what I mean? Who's going to do that?
Who's
you know,
believe, yeah.
Before I want to talk about your Chipotle, but also Starbucks. We had that Gorgeous push up here off that previous support, 95.20s. Now coming right back into the 95.20 area. Not one that I would be trading right now. This is just a little bit of a violent action here on SPUX. 25 minutes until Goolsby hits that stage there for those comments. I have my order at 58. NVIDIA just decided to apparently like touch his nose against it and then run away. So let's see what's going on here in the NVDAA. Come on, Jensen Huang, let's get this to the upside. How you doing?
Not too bad here. A bit of like what is happening right now? Like there's a bit of squeezing action across the board here, especially on the markets. We did break high a day there. That 19.6 held over the past 45 minutes, and we're accelerating to the upside as of right now. And I'm looking at this Tesla like, oh boy, you really gonna squeeze middle of the day Tesla? Like, what is this price action? This is what I'm talking about here with the way things have been moving as of recent. Like peculiar price action is what I'm gonna say. Definitely reminds me of again maybe crowded tickers, or just like I don't know, some feels a little something feels a little interesting on a lot of this price action on the Mag 7. So kind of moving a little distinctly different than they normally do over the past couple of weeks here. So don't know what it is, tinfoil hat, tinfoil suit, but we shall see what comes out of this here. Let's see if we can pull back in. That was a nice little squeeze to the highs there. We pulled off of these, and we came right into this prior support that Tesla had just into that 217 halves, and we're taking a strong pullback back in as of right now, back down about 50 pennies off of that pop. How high was that candle specifically? 217.40s. We're pulling back in about 30 pennies, so maybe not that much, maybe not that aggressive as I'm thinking. But a little bit of a pullback here. Let's see what the DAC is up to. DAC is taking a wee bit of a pullback here as well. How much time is left on this 15-minute candle? Oh boy, we still have 14 minutes, so we could potentially still have a lot more to go if this candle decides to continue to print green. If these markets continue to bid up into the closing session on the day here, so we shall see. We shall see. Maybe I need to do a pushback as well, Adara.
Oh, pushback time?
Apple reversion? Apple reversion?
Apple reversion?
Maybe. Perhaps.
Reverting the reversion?
Reverting the reversion. Hello, Apple.
Reverse
I'm coming
assumption?
for you.
You're coming for Apple there?
Yeah, I'm coming for this Apple right now.
You're gonna pare that Apple down to the downside?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, this gets a real pushback here from me. Obi, wow, this 126.30s is...
I like that.
That's tasty.
226.30s, yeah, I do like that as well.
126.30s will be a little bit...
The high is 40 pennies away. That's not too bad. I like that. You know what? Market with a little bit of a pop, I'm willing to put on some risk, let's say. So let's see, what is the high there? The high a day on Apple is 226.82. So just about 40 pennies away from where I'm in. So let's see how well that kind of comes in, and let's see how well that works out as we break trend with the market, again, accelerating to the upside, some aggressive buying, and then now we're taking a bit of a pullback here. Tesla, I got a closer eye on here as of right now. 30 pennies out of the money for me right now. Kind of sold more on the way up, but I was just confused. I was like, what is this action? And maybe that's something I do have to work on. I get a little confused, and I'm like, oh, I'm seeing the aggressive buying. I want to sell to those buyers. Buddy, you got to have the right kind of risk to play that game for reversion, and you don't even know. They could just continue buying. What do you know? I know nothing. So let's see if that potentially comes in here. Apple pulling in 226's potential break of trend. Let's see if we take a little bit of a pullback here, Adara. Again, 11 and a half minutes for this 15-minute candle left to print. Take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles. 8 straight green candles, Adara, on the NASDAQ. First red one potentially. Let's see if it breaks back through its open. If that breaks back through its open, oh boy, have we? You definitely would have trapped me. But yeah, let's see how that comes in. 217 still testing here on Tesla. What are you guys trading today? CMG, oh boy, it's still coming into VWAP there. So I did take off myself. If we're going to pull up in this market and we continue to the upside here, I do want to have at least one long on CMG, again, not being as volatile as some of the rest of the names. Tesla definitely being more volatile, and Apple as well. Let's see how these come, if these come into fruition as of right now. We continue to the upside, sure, that's fine as well. Looking for a wee bit of a pullback right now What do you got going on? I see that you've been back-to-back longs on NVIDIA, and that has been working nicely for you.
Thank you. Yeah, so to be clear, I was flat on one of them. One of the longs exactly flat. My average was 124, got out when we got below that 124. But like I said, I would only get back in if we got above 124.20s, and this is where the patience comes in. Once we get that move up, it works out. I add at that previous resistance area of 124.30s, and I said, as we have to move back in the market, I said, Adara, you can piece them out early, end up getting some of this out 20 cents in the money at 41s. But I said, Adara, don't panic sell unless or until you break below 30s, because you know 30s was that support resistance flip. If you break below 30s, I give you full permission to panic sell, Adara. We never broke below 30s, so I didn't panic sell. Really pleased this punch, because the Adara of even like a few weeks ago would have been running screaming for the hills. This Adara was not, though I'm going to stop talking about myself in the third person. We only have just under, I guess it's just about a quarter of that initial position left here. Let's see if we can make new highs. I want to see what we do here at 125. Like I said, I'm using that 124.30 as my area, not just because it's my entry point, but it's the entry point for the rest of the position because that was such a support resistance area, right? So if we get below that, I would like exactly zero smoke. I want no smoke. I'm okay getting out of this flat. Took some profit here, but I would love to see NVIDIA grind a little bit higher. Meta, I'm still watching though. Meta, look at your little bottoming tail candles. You want us to think that you're along here. You want us to think that you're still along. I don't believe that you are. You're getting a bit spread. Why am I talking to Meta? We'll never know. We're getting a little bit spreadier here, mind you. And this is why you have multi-time frame confirmation. I made that weird little dissatisfied noise because on the 10-minute, this really kind of blows my short theory out of the water. Look at all of this support at 529. Madness, insanity, I tell you. So I really don't know if I necessarily want to go long right here or short right here. I would still, if I did go short, probably still be under the operation of get involved 529.50s, risk into 530s. That's, or even like the top of the, 530.10s. So basically same level. And you can get minimum here. If we push down, you're going to be watching for some of these levels where we wicked earlier, like 528.50s. That's going to give you what? Like that's, you're cool, like almost $1 in the money there, right? That's risk to reward about 2 to 1. Nice look there. I do have ostentatious with two tickers being mentioned here. NYCB, I believe you mentioned earlier as a potential range. So I love ranges. Let's see if we can NYCB. That is New York. That is the often struggling New York City bank. We know that one has had a little bit of an issues. Not really taking it to the bank over there, unfortunately, at NYCB. Let's see what they're up to today. They have volume. Oh, not bad. Almost 2 million shares in volume. Up 3.25% or 3.5% on the day. Math, Adara. Come on. Oh, this is beautiful.
What's up?
Higher highs, higher lows. Nice look there in NYCB. Let's take a look at Chewy, which does report in 2 weeks. We'll have to see how the Catman, to use a Sharif, and how his new stock is doing in a few weeks there. Let's see if I mean, I'm sure you're like, you'd be barking mad if you weren't long here. Bad pun. But I love this like little support resistance. Like we hold this consolidation range really similar to what NVIDIA did at 124. Right below that 27s, we push higher. Great look there for CHWY. SoFi, asked Tony Price. Yeah, I'm going to keep looking at tickers here while NVIDIA chills. We're like about 20 pennies in the money in NVIDIA. I'm not adding here. As the market tries to pick a lane, I'm going to let it do that and just stay in NVIDIA unless or until it breaks below my entry point here. But this SoFi, been a lot of pushbacks today.
There's a lot of things happening there.
Right?
I don't blame you.
I think the pushbacks
do not blame the
need to happen.
pushback counter today.
Like, look at these higher lows here. Beautiful VWAP support. To be fair, I think we need to see like that 705 breakout for this like whole beautiful rounded bottom. But I like this look here in SOFI. Bit of a bull flag here for Anthony Noto and his crew. So yeah, just gonna continue to chill here in NVDA. Shout out to that stock. Meta though, I've been trying to trade less names, but like it's hard when something like Meta comes in and like bats his eyelashes at me. Meta, okay, I have some thoughts here. We're gonna wait. I really like Meta as a potential short here if I risk it appropriately. Very few shares left in NVIDIA. We're gonna have to see how we do here. We're also gonna probably go over some earnings in a little bit here as well because it's just past 1 p.m. But be aware, guys, just over 15 minutes. We do have Fed's Goolsby. Let's see if he scares the market.
Oh yeah, definitely got to watch out for that here. So I kind of perked up, kind of sat up on my seat because I saw some stuff on the tape and I was like, oh boy, something's coming in. I don't know, It was like flushes of red, both on Apple and Tesla at the same time. And then the market's kind of pulling in as well. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see how much you're going to pull in if you do decide to pull in here on some selling. But again, we accelerate to the upside there on that push. And take a look. The NASDAQ, again, 5 minutes left, 5 minutes and 40 seconds left for this 15-minute candle to print. Apple is reverting, so that's nice. Again, another market leader here. Alphabet looking a little weak here. Alphabet consolidation, low break potential coming in as well. NVIDIA making a lower high as of right now, but back at that double top 125. So let's see what it does with that 125. I didn't expect it to get back all the way up here, but it is. So let's see what it does. Let's see what it does there. What else am I looking at here? Oh boy, Walmart with the reversion. That came in real nice here. Yeah, TQs, can you revert for me? That's what I'm looking for. Nike doing a reversion as well. Chipotle, the reversion is working as of right now. Again, still holding on to just a morsel of just a snack from on Chipotle there.
Just the chips and salsa. You're not getting like the whole meal.
Just exactly.
Yeah, just a little shoulder.
Yeah. That it worked. I recorded it. I was like, oh, I'm watching you put in my portions, and it gave me the full portion there, all the way to view up. So can't be mad.
Yeah, Brian Nichols' advice worked for you, so that's good.
Thank you.
Good news there. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. Sorry, I was confused.
Yeah, no
Meta,
worries.
I'm short Meta, guys. I have to admit, this is why I hit the P&L, because I know, again, I have the P&L. I know
Smooth
realistically
one, Jay.
Pardon?
No, so I'm laughing at something that Smooth One Jay said in the shirt.
I see.
Yeah, I did not say that, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say, realistically, I might be, I think I'm probably up here in the day, but I don't want to avoid trades for that reason. If I see something I like, I want to take it if the risk to reward makes sense. With regards to this Meta here, why I like Meta is because, like I said, I love that 529. I've been watching this all day since it was that beautiful long with that reversion. Again, I want to shout out Joanna Brewster for calling that reversion with that beautiful bottoming tail candle. But then we get below view up here. I'm risking it to 530, so I'm risking like 50 pennies here. And I'm trying to make minimum 75, taking out 2/3 of this position if we get to that 529.75. Now, if we get to that area, we'll take some profit. I'm willing to add and subtract as we go here. I'm willing to chip this thing away to the downside. Slide into Meta's DMs, slide out of the DMs, slide back in the DMs, really mess with Meta's motions. Joking there. But let's see if we can get this move here to the downside. Meta, not one I trade a lot. Like I said, Meta, much like Eli Lilly, I have no qualms about taking them if I have levels I like and the risk to reward ratio makes sense and the spread is not too terrifying. Right now, Meta spread 10 cents. For a stock that I regularly call spreada, that is not bad at all. So I'm okay with that. Risk to reward makes sense. Let's see if Meta is the right platform for me to be trading right now. Dell as well, seeing some mentions of Dell. Dell we know was popping up, I think yesterday, and Dell also on watch out of its earnings in, I believe, about 2 weeks here. So let's see if Michael Dell and co. can get this, nice little move here on Dell. Volume here about 7 million shares. Not a clear chart pattern though. On a day where I think you get so many patterns and really clear moves, I don't know if Dell is the one to be giving it to you. I want to shout out Raider Trader yesterday, who was saying, I'm going to paraphrase here, but what he was saying was, if it's kind of not giving you all of the moves, then you're kind of wasting your time and your money, right? If there's so many stocks moving, find the ones that are making the biggest moves. Neil and I had kind of a similar conversation yesterday in the market recap as well, right? About finding, making sure when you've got such a volatile market, when you've got so many things moving, pick the things that mention the most here. So nice look here, beautiful higher lows here on Dell, but it's not the most beautiful chart in these here markets, I would say, on a day where we have so many different moves and some day one and day two earnings. AMAT, another one to look at here on earnings, because we have been talking about these day one and day two earnings plays. Let's take a look at Alibaba first, though. This is a sign of earnings continuation. I know last week you were playing some of these with the Uber. You were Uberish on Uber, remember, at one point. We also had Palantir. Alibaba here, though, giving you a bit of a rounded top, but still up about 5+% on the day. So some of this day two action, JD, another day two earnings play, right? So we were talking about earnings kind of being the lesson and how you can continue to play them day after day. And I think one thing too with this JD, this was basically in your high of days, right? I guess the point I'm trying to make is you want a reversion. You were a bit of a reversion. You are a reversion trader a lot. I've tried to an extent, but sometimes the moves are going to give you those continued areas. So just be aware that, right, you might have to wait for that reversion. I use that example for Shopify as well. On day one earnings, Shopify did give you the reversion, but not right away. So some of these earnings names, they do have that outsized volume, that outsized strength. watch, be careful before getting too involved. Yeah, look at this JD day 2 earnings taking out that 29 level, which was previous resistance. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if JD can clear this 29 here, not to use your word, but oh boy. This is like a crazy look there. I would certainly be pretty convicted about a long there if it broke above 29. So good look there. Meta basically flat. I got out of NVIDIA because honestly, I said I'd be giving it till 30s. I probably paper-handed this NVIDIA. I took 15 cents on it. I was just like, Adara, right now you feel way more confident about Meta. Just get out of the NVIDIA for now, focus on that Meta, and see if Eds Goolsby does scare the market to the downside. I'm happy Neil got that pun in the chat. Shout out to Neil Roberts there. He is the real deal. But yeah, we'll see if Goolsby gives us a move to the downside here. How you doing with your trades, Obi?
Not too bad. Just kind of just watching, being patient, or trying to be patient at least. Apple going sideways right now, and that's fine. Initial break a trend doesn't necessarily have to go right away. We can even continue to make some higher highs before that happens as well, right? So the buying definitely has slowed down a little bit there. Again, we look at the NASDAQ and the ES as well as prime examples. Multiple green 15-minute candles back to back. We print the first red. Let's see how the first red carries forward. Do we continue to make more greens, or do we print some reds here? But I have no idea. Let's see if some of these levels hold. But price action, or the prices are definitely holding a little bit higher. Prior high a day, just below this 19.6. So let's see if we pull down. We couldn't get to 19.7 right away. But let's see if we can pull down into 19.6 here. Apple reversion. I'm still waiting for you. What are you guys trading in the chat? Let us know. Bob S saying, I got Apple 127s. Nice. Yeah, yeah. If you had Apple in the personal anytime over the past couple of years, yeah, you're sitting very pretty on that ticker. As again, we're printing about 226s here. So yeah, it's been a great trade. I do hold full disclosure. I do hold some Apple as well. One of my bigger positions in the portfolio, if you want to call it a portfolio, few stocks. But yeah. Is it? Neil's saying that's literally what a portfolio is. I mean, when I think of portfolio, I'm just like, oh, then maybe there's like 50 tickers, 40 tickers. I'm like, I got like maybe like 6 or 7. So, we'll see. We'll see how it,
Yeah, that's a good way of Fabian saying portfolio is just an example of your work. Yeah, that's a good, I guess, like, yeah, when you do like an art portfolio. Shout out to Fabian being like the arts kids over here. Yeah, shout out. Because when you do a portfolio, when you're applying for any kind of art or design school, it's usually a pretty small, pretty small sampling, a smattering of what you do. So yeah, you got, I guess, a little portfolio here. You got 3 stocks.
I mean, yeah, I got a bit of portfolio going on right now as well, if you want to use that definition. Oh boy, here it comes. Let's see if that selling back through to 217 follows through, or do we hold on the bid? We're holding moving averages as well, so I'm watching that. We've had some strength to the upside. We're holding higher highs, higher lows as well, so I know and understand I'm kind of fighting this a little bit as of right now. But yeah, let's see if it comes in. Market taking a little bit of a breather here after some of that strength is what I'm looking at as of right now. So Stephen Childers saying, I want to have 20 or less. Yeah. I mean, each their own. Everyone trades a little differently there as well. So you got to keep that in mind, right? You got to keep in mind what's your perspective on the market. What are your opinions? Again, different people value different things differently, and that can sometimes be expressed. This beautiful thing about trading is a lot of times, I mean, I find myself, and I observe it in other traders as well, your personality and the things that you like, your strengths and weaknesses definitely come out in your trading, especially if you're a little serious about it. So that observation has definitely been made. Again, being on the floor, giving me that perspective as well. So I am thankful for that. Kind of, you get to learn how other players play. I was talking to Neil I talked to Neil about this, I think a few months ago as well, where I was just like, one of the best things about being on a prop floor and being really intimate with other traders in terms of how they trade is how they stop out. How they stop out. Fabian asking how intimate. I mean, you're gonna have to ask I guess Wayne about that one there. But no, it's just a joke. Wayne and I sometimes we get a little intimate. I was just going to say that. Right, Wayne? No, he's not even listening. He's busy in a trade right now. But yeah, no, definitely a little intimacy happening there. Tesla pushing to the upside. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, Meta, why are you making bottoming tail candles asking for a friend? To be clear, I'm like flat on this. I have no reason to be like a little, upset here. I'm going to be trying to chill and be calm. I think we do still have these lower highs, and it makes sense we're not going to get that 529 breakdown right away, right? This was a huge level. It is a huge level if you go back on a couple different time frames here, so I understand that. I'm just hoping we're not trying to pop here for a bull flag, because that's another way that this could play out. But again, you have to go in the balance of the evidence. You have to go in what you're feeling confident or confident about. I still feel good about this short. I watched this for a while. I think should the bow break, the cradle will fall. Rockabye Meta, go to the downside. So we'll see how that goes. Shout out to Harry Lou in the chat saying I'm playing with Meta's heart. You're sliding in the DMs. Hopefully sliding out of the DMs. Like, Meta, I don't really need this conversation to be that long. I would like to take my 75 pennies with 2/3 of my position. I would like to hold the rest for a piece of the dream and see what's happening here. Hog Rider pointing out, and I think this is a good point, Meta looking like an inverse head and shoulders. It could. That is very valid. I do feel a little bit less good about this long or this short as we push into 530s, but I don't want to get out too early because I want to honor my initial thesis on this position, which is I do think we could push below that 529. If we don't, like I said, 530, this 530-10 area we wicked into, if we don't get above that, I don't want to be selling here. I don't want to be getting out. I want to be making sure I'm honoring what my trade was on Meta, which was like, don't get out till we get into 530s. We are trying to see a bit of a topping tail candle here at VWAP. We do still have lower highs, though I will admit, Hog Rider, like I was sitting here watching us fail to break down that 529 and getting a skosh nervous. I'd be lying if I wasn't. Now that we've looked at some of the wider, okay. Well, guys, like one thing too I've been trying to do more, and I've noticed that especially with my Tesla scalps, sometimes looking at the shorter term time frames, like the longer term time frame gives you a big, obviously, sense of the longer term trends, what these players are looking at longer term. I know Obi uses the 15 a lot, right? That can give you a big sense of what the overarching story is. But sometimes the little beats in the story, the small character moments, to use a really weird analogy, or to go back to my jazz analogy, like the little solos in the piece as we improvise in the form of these 1 or 3 minute charts. That can be huge too, can show you like right in the moment, what are we doing? Not just longer term, but right in the moment, how are we feeling? Meta's holding this support real well here on this 3 minute at this 529.26. So don't love that. But again, I do not want to be leaving until or if I see the 530 breakout. I have not seen that yet. Breathe, chill, breathe. And hang out. Apparently, Sean was walking through like he owns the place in the background. People were rewinding to check that out. I missed that. So shout out to Sean and his cool walk there. Sean, caramel macchiato?
It's a large iced coffee.
Large iced coffee. Shout out to Sean there.
Points.
He used 100 points there for his large iced coffee. Shout out to Sean there. I also have a matcha from this morning.
Wow.
Cheers.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Yeah. For a second, I thought Obi was going to get a cup and also cheers there.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers. Boom. Cheers.
But yeah, so good times there. Speaking of, let's look at Starbucks again, because last time we looked at Starbucks, it had done some really interesting. Starbucks, you get another pushback because that 95.20 is holding really bizarrely. It's almost like, how Walmart didn't move for 3 hours yesterday? It's almost like that, but also not at all because it's been a lot tighter of a move here. But this 95.20 really fascinating here on SBUX. Beautiful push higher. Yeah, this Starbucks trying to get a little bit of caffeine here. It did, and then just as quickly, it sipped all of that caffeine, needing a bit of a refill. I think anything happening here at this 95.20 would be interesting, either the upside or downside. We do have the Qs trying to hold support here, which makes me nervous in my meta short, as we have these wicks here trying to hold on to 475. Let's see what we get. We won't get upset, but we actually might, in all honesty. We have 3 minutes till we get Feds Goolsby. Let's see what Austin has to say. How are your trades going right now, Obi, as we head into Fed time?
I mean, Tesla, not so good. Apple, whatever, it's kind of sideways right now. Tesla is pushing some fresher highs. Not day highs, but kind of relatively fresher highs than we've been kind of making. Higher highs, higher lows as well. The trend is continuing as of right now. So yeah, not looking so good as of right now, but yeah, a bit of a breakout kind of potential happening right here. Trend. We kind of hold above this, and now we're breaking out. And now that I say that out loud, this short idea seems absolutely horrible. But yeah, we shall see and reassess right now. So yeah, no, 217.60 is coming in, and the market printing another green candle here on the 15-minute here. So the 6 minutes left until we finish printing that. And Tesla has been to the upside here as well. I'm just now looking at the 15 minutes, as you just mentioned. I do like to look at the 15 minutes, and 15 minutes have been in quite a trend here. So let's see if we can get back up towards day highs. But this trend has been absolutely strong off of VWAP as well, right? Hold a VWAP 216.10s there, and we're trading a little bit higher than that as of right now. CMG, we did get to VWAP, we did pull back in as of right now. So let's see what CMG has in store for us, but nothing too crazy that I have left going on CMG. Again, I wanted places to get more on the ticker. Didn't really give that. Well, I gave it to you for a little bit on top of whatever that pullback was, quickly into the 50s and 60s. But again, wasn't really looking at it. Don't really have that entry right now. So that's all I'm looking at right now. What is it saying? Coffee Trader saying NVIDIA respects the 50 SMA on the 1 minute chart all day. I got it on the last try. Let's see what happens. Okay, good luck with that. Harry Liu saying, what are you using as stops? A percentage of expected gain or a set amount, like 50 cent below entry? So I guess it's different with every kind of trade here. I'm kind of giving this one a little room. I know there's a bit of degeneracy going on my part as well. But yeah, no, I'm giving it a portion of ATR. Let's say that. Let's say again, sometimes I like to use ATR. Sometimes I like to use prior structures on the chart as well. Sometimes I like to use that market confluence as well. Yeah, there's different ways to kind of risk a position. Not always just a penny stop. It could be like a behavior. Like I'm looking for a distinct change in behavior within, of course, your daily risk limit as well, right? So again, I'm absolutely horrible at that, and that's what I have to get better at doing. Again, you guys can see I'm holding 70 pennies against me, but again, I'm looking for potentially more in the money as well. So your risk to reward also has to kind of make sense. If you're willing to hold a point or two against you, are you going to be holding for 2 to 4 points in your favor, right? So that becomes the question here. Apple taking a little bit of a turn here as market kind of as that candle goes from green to red from red to green to red again here, with about 3 minutes left on the 15-minute candle to print. So let's see what we have in store here for these markets. SMCI is saying, Darius, let's take a quick look at SMCI as well. Oh boy, all right. So SMCI, nice little downtrend off of the open. They're holding opening kind of range consolidation, pre-market lows as well. 624, 625s holding underneath VWAP as well. So yeah, SMCI looking like a nice look there on that ticker there. But yeah, let us know what else you guys are watching. SMCI definitely been nice post-split. When is it split on SMCI again?
SMCI October 1st.
October 1st. So we still got some time for that. But as of recent, AVGO was the one. Was that tech name?
Yeah, MSTR.
Yeah,
well.
MSTR, right.
They did split, and still not been like crazy movement, but the MSTR did split. Waiting for some comments from Fed Schools be here. I got out of Meta because we got above. I waited too, because that 5:30 break was very deceptive. And I said, let's see what we do at 5:30.10. It's 5:30.10. Chill. And I'm like, honestly, to be fair, I did get out when we broke above 5:30.10, so in that way I followed my rule. But I'm like, Adara, on the bid side, we didn't even really get above 5:30 at that point, so you arguably panic sold. Whatever, it's fine. Breathe, breathe, breathe. As we get the Qs pushing lower, and I do know we have a notoriously hawkish Fed speaker said to be coming through here, so I do want to be aware of that for sure and without a doubt. So let's keep an eye what's going on here on this on these markets here in this META. I'm not getting short this again because we're still above that 90 MA. If we come back to that level, I initially got in at 50s, but a level I like even better is like 67s. Look at all of these different times in the 5 minute that we touch the 67s. So if we get to 67s or 69s, what's life without whimsy? We'll save that entry point. Let's find out what happens there. Shout out to Darius Golden saying, Adara knows I love SMCI. Yeah, honestly, Darius Golden literally called SMCI 637 yesterday. At the time, we were trading around like 620s. I was like, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I got to 637s. So shout out to Darius Golden there. Certainly know your ticker. That is for sure. Still holding Meta long, says Joanna Brewster. Honestly, that's definitely not a bad call here. Like, we still have these higher lows. Tried to short with that lower high VWAP. Didn't work out, but like I said, I am willing to try again for like a kind of a shorter term trade if we get below that 69s area, because I do think things get a bit spicy here. I don't want to continue to like beat a dead horse, to use kind of a grotesque analogy, but look at all of these this top and tail candle here. I find this look interesting. The other Meg 7 that I've had some eyes on is an old pal of Obi's. Its name is Amazon, and it has been doing, Neil called it a quintuple top earlier in the chat. It's been doing that. It's been giving you these slightly higher lows. Like, honestly, if this thing breaks above 178.20, I would probably want it to like jump $1. I'd be like, why did I wait so long? This is one of the slowest, most painstaking breakouts I have ever seen. Who knows if it'll break out here? NVIDIA, I did get out. I know I could have held this because we didn't really get that break below 124.30 while I was in it, but I was like, you know what, like, don't feel good about it anymore, focused on my meta, so I got out of the NVDA. But NVDA is still pushing higher, but struggling, much like, you know, Amazon being all weird with that 177.20 area or 178.20. We have NVIDIA with this 124.60. If we have that breakout, it would be kind of the same logic I had with that 124.20 on NVIDIA. I'd be kind of tempted to take it, but I want to figure out what direction the market's doing. And honestly, right now, I talk about sometimes about the big white whale trades, like the trades I feel really good about, the trades that I want to be putting my energy and my focus into. Meta. So I'd even be willing to long Meta, but I think right now, because I do want to shout out Hog Rider with that call there with the inverse head and shoulders, that could be valid here. Shoulder around that 529 area. You know, bit of a neckline at that 530.50. I just think given that and again, I don't want to let this thesis sour my view on the market, but we do have a speaker here, Feds Goolsby, who is a little bit hawkish. He's not as notorious as Crash Kari, but I do want to be really aware of this level here. Let's figure out what happens. The SPY, she will try to trick you now, says Nando's Art. Yeah, the SPY I've been watching here. You guys know I like my whole dollar breaks. If we get a move down, I'll be hopping into that. SPY trying, it's interesting. We're trying to have this push up here into 555. Let's see if we can do it. These wicks to the downside, pretty enticing. Qs, though, I think maybe a little bit weaker, perhaps, than the SPY. Oh, they're on the NASDAQ era. So I'm just trying to watch meta here, too, because I'm getting ready to pop into that short. Copy trader saying at long if NVIDIA breaks 125. Shout out to you. Yeah, I think that 125 break, if it happens, will be gorgeous. To me, though, Q's trying to push below the 90 EMA. How are your shorts going in those Meg 7 names there?
Bit of a fight here still on Tesla as it kind of creeps up little by little here to the upside. So yeah, just kind of just watching it, looking for anything distinctly different to kind of really get aggressive with this one as of right now. But yeah, no real. Okay, so 218s coming in as of right now. So we did kind of break past some of these pre-market levels here as well. So I want to be aware of that. I'm going to try to take this wick out of the way so we can have a better perspective on the chart. 2176s. Okay, 2176s. Okay, boom, there we go. So look at that, nice little trend to the upside, and I am shorting against the trend. So not the best as of right now, but the shorts. Apple still kind of sideways here. So, and look at the market as well. We did kind of hold this 19,620 as well going into the closing session. We only have about 30 minutes, Adara, going into the closing session, the last 2 hours of the trading day. And yeah, we've had some crazy moves here. Again, Tesla being one of the main ones, all the way up, all the way down, and well, not all the way down, 50% retracement to the downside, and then potentially pushing right back up for a 50% retracement of that retracement. So again, I got to do reversion of the reversion, reverse
psychology.
So, yeah, reverse
psychology.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, there's some strength. There's some strength on these. I like the Funzadera. There's some strength coming in on a few of these names. Let's see if that will kind of continue. It has been continuing. Wong family saying not a day for shorts. Yeah, buddy. I don't know. I've been only pretty much shorting Tesla all day, so I do have to kind of flip the script potentially on that one there as we push into this 218 level.
Yeah, I'm still watching my Meg 7s. Again, I literally got out on the bottom wick of this Microsoft long, but you know what? Where's the next trade? I'm happy I didn't try to revenge trade it. That would have been worse. So Meta does not have a D in it, Adara, spelled correctly. META here. still in my area. I don't want to be looking at that though at the exclusion of all else. So I've still been looking at some other tickers, but I do, you do have to like focus on what the cream of the crop trade is for you. For me, if this meta gets below that area, I do want to short. Right now though, it's looking like it wants to be a long, so I'm going to respect it by not shorting it here. Google, I dare stop looking at different tickers, but this Google I have on my side chart. For some reason, I have the 3-minute on my Google side chart. That's weird. We'll switch to the 5 because I like to have my side charts semi-consistent. But Google, with a bit of a range here, not one that I feel excited enough to play. Amazon rejecting its quintuple top. Interesting look there. But if we get a push down in the market, like I'm kind of seeing, the only thing I want in my picnic basket here, I will be Yogi Bear, emphasis on Bear, and I will be taking meta short. Okay, we get below. I want to wait here. I want to be patient. But I think if we get that, like, a bit more of a move down here, we have a bit of a topping tail candle forming on the Qs. Look at that. Okay, let's go. I am also someone who got a little bit burned on shorts. Microsoft shorts worked, that the other shorts did not. So interesting look here, but I do like this look here on meta. And if we continue to push back here below 80s, we're going to set an order here for 269s here on meta. What's life without whimsy? I don't know. Better entry point than my first short here. We're going to be risking here in same area, that 530. We're going to give 530.20s a little bit more room because I always forget meta spready. Give it room, Adara. And as I get in, meta's like, oh, I'm going to hold the 90 MA and bounce. Is that cool? And I'm like, well, is it? We'll see what happens here. I don't love this look. I'm going to basically also be piecing out a little bit earlier. If this works, we're going to start getting pieces out at 529.24s. That's an area that I know we can get to and I know we can be kind of interesting at. We've wicked into that area earlier, so let's see what happens. I'm not trying to revenge trade this. I think this makes sense, and I think it's also a better entry point. Still risking about the same. Coffee trader asking, do I rap? No, I mean for fun. I really like rapping. Pardon?
So does Adara rap?
Yeah, I do rap. Honestly, like on my free time, quite a lot. Everyone always bars. No, I mean, honestly, like hopefully this meta trade is going to be rap in a good way and not an annoying way here. But let's see what's going on. Palantir, though, oh my gosh, if you're looking for a bit of a shorter move to the downside, you have P to the L to the T to the R, giving you that rejection here of the 90 MA. Should have been a lot more cognizant of this. We're coming back below that previous high day here that we fought to break above that 32.40. I kind of let the same fall to the wayside because I didn't want to be trading every single name under the sun. Just a few. No, I'm joking. But yeah, this is still an interesting level here in Palantir as we try to push below. That being said, previous resistance can hold the support. We've already bounced off this area a couple times. Let's see what happens here on these here markets. MC LePage says, Ari Page, I don't know about that, but you know, I just try to do what I can here.
That's a sick rap name.
I like it. You know, DJ, I don't know.
DJ LePage.
But yeah, DJ LePage. Interesting look there. UPST made my day, says TX Trader. I mean, yeah, shout out to you there. Upstart certainly gave you a nice start to the upside, if or downside. I haven't even looked at this one in a while. I believe this one popped up. But let me look at, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so nice pop up here. Give you a nice start to the day. Tons of resistance here at that 38.50s. Huadunk. Speaking of day one earnings, actually, no, that's interesting too, because we had like kind of a slow steady move to the downside. Now we're kind of ranging. But also, if you look at the daily chart for this, I know this guy had a spicy earnings. Got meta moving higher, so I should probably be babysitting my meta here as well. But let's look at this upstart quickly for, not for TX Trader, because I just was curious to look at it for myself. Now here, this U, the P to the S to the T. Babysitting meta still, UPST here, let's go. Let's see what that daily chart did, because we were talking about earnings today and for the last few weeks here on how to trade. And UPST has been a little bit interesting here with the way that one started up on day one earnings. Coffee Trader saying I should be dropping some lines while Sharif breakdances. Who knows? I know, yeah, did you see Sharif's breakdancing video?
No.
You can bust a move.
What? This exists? No, that's something I definitely have to watch.
Yeah, get him to show you that next time.
Okay, all right.
Oh boy. But yeah, this upstart.
Oh boy, indeed.
You could see this daily. Like, look at this move here with upstart. This earnings pop, and we pop in earnings here. Day one, we get it, like day two, we literally pop up here, day one, above that previous area of resistance, we keep holding higher. So interesting, we have that strength that continues to follow through there on earnings. I'm still learning more about trading earnings because I don't trade them off the open. I only trade in the midday. But yeah, I think it's certainly something I'm still trying to learn a lot about. And upstart, showing you strength since earnings. We haven't been at that level since. How you doing?
Not too bad. So a little bit of a volume pop here on Tesla, so I'm kind of watching that as well. Significant volume coming in as we attempt to push this 218 right now, and we take a little pullback here Apple as well. Look at this sideways consolidation. So yeah, trend has broken. We've started going side. We were going up, now we're going sideways. Let's see if we continue to go sideways. Do we go up? Do we go down? There's only 3 ways we can really go. Market's trying to catch a bid here once more. Again, holding above this 19.6 and kind of just chopping sideways as of right now. Let's see if Apple can break that consolidation low. That could definitely bring some selling in. Again, top constituent. Let's see if that has any effect on Amazon. I was going to say Amazon, on Tesla.
Someone thinking about Amazon.
It might be reminiscing a little.
It's on your mind.
Yeah.
Nice look there. So Meta. Okay, like I said, I'm giving this because last time I literally did not need to be getting out there. It was a little bit too snippy with Meta. I want to see Meta try 530-20s. You do need to give this one a little bit more risk. I'm aware that it is spready. Give it more risk there. Apple looking actually really interesting here, though. That AAPL that I know you're in. Shout out to that. I've been watching this just on my side chart off the corner of my eye. Not one that I trade very much here, but I love that we're trying to crack below the 90 EMA here in the 5-minute, coming into that previous area, 226.40s. Pretty spicy. Meta, we're at 530-20s. This could be the decisive point here. This is the moment I want to get that tightening of that spread, pushing above here. Let's see if we can kind of come back and reject 530-20s. I want to see what we do here. Willing to risk a little bit. Okay, this is getting interesting here now. What will we do here on META? So if we're just narrating Meta, guys, but I really want to see what this name does. Okay, we're trying to bring back below here on the bid. With the spread of your name, you kind of want to see what it does. Like what I said, I really, for some of the, when I trade spread of your names, some of my book reading and my order book reading is going to actually have to do with the interactions that we see on the bid and the ask. And that was what I saw with Eli Lilly. Why I was really upset I didn't get into one of those longs last week is because Eli Lilly, which usually has a much larger spread than Meta, mind you, as well. But usually what it'll do, it'll kind of like hop, skip, and jump from levels. So when it's climbing up 1 cent at a time, that's a sign, hey, things are distinctly different. Meta, near that area I like there, that 530-20s, but now we're starting to see a little bit of a sell-off here on the bid. When I say I mean as my stop. Like I don't like that level. But I'm seeing us kind of run away from this level. That was the same thing I was seeing when I got out the first time here, and I shouldn't have gotten out in that first short. I'm aware that this could still be a bull flag. It could still have that head and shoulders action. I don't want to be getting rinsed on this trade, and I arguably should have been wetting my beak a little bit earlier, but I like this. I have confidence. I have confidence, and I want to wait because I think, honestly, at this point, like I said, I wanted a clear 530-20 breakout. We have not gotten that yet, though I think Meta, please don't prove it to me. I would rather not have that. But let's see what we get here on M to the E, to the T, and the A. We've got, what else have people happening here? Neo stock, says Jairo Rodriguez. Yeah, we've got some of those Chinese ADRs and EVs reporting here. So let's take a look at Neo. I believe they're not next week, but the week after XPeng, I know we have next week. Bit of a move down here in the market. We've got the SPY trying to get below that 90 EMA a little bit. Bit of a push down here in the Qs. Neo, honestly, Neo I find, I should not be using a 5-minute Neo. Neo, nice, like a bit of rejection here at that 395. Once you push above 395, kind of get a little bit higher here. This is honestly a stock I'm super comfortable reading because I don't trade it very much. But oh boy is right, we're getting a bit of a move down here. How are you feeling, Obi?
Yeah, I guess I'm feeling a little bit better there. But we shall see. We shall see. It's still holding trend. Looking for the break of the trend here. So a little bit of anticipation here. Not really participation. Participation would be trading with the trend, right? So 217.70 is holding right now. Again, this 15-minute candle has about 2.5 minutes roughly left to print. So I'm just kind of waiting on that to finish doing its thing. There, but yeah, no, I'm not really looking at anything too much else as of right now. Just kind of just chilling, observing the action here on Tesla, watching Apple to see if it actually kind of cracks that consolidation low. Do we get a reversion into VWAP, or do we just hold sideways? We've seen so much action over the past couple of weeks where it's just like you have strong action one way or the other, and then you just consolidate within the upper quartile or the lower quartile of that action and just base out and like a dead cat bounce onto the downside, and then I don't know what you would want to call that to the upside as well, but similar kind of price action as a dead cat bounce, but to the upside on a bunch of these tickers. So Apple looking like it's starting to set up like that with, again, just over 2 hours and 20 minutes left in the trading day. You could definitely just, again, trade sideways for the rest of the day. It is a Friday, a bit of interesting action on a Friday as well. We've been aggressive the upside, almost squeeze-like action coming in off of the opening session there. So let's see if this squeeze is really on, or do we get a bit of a pullback going into Friday? But the weeklies this week are the weekly candles, not the weekly options. It's a whole different story. But the weekly candles closing, looking like they might be closing real strong here. Apple, again, went from red to green on the week. Very, very strong on the day as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got kind of interesting here. We thought we had them move down in the queue. Shout out to people sharing here about these Fed comments. We did have some comments here. Fed's Goolsby saying that small business defaults are up. Now it's getting a little cautionary. Also, shout out to Darwin saying, here's Goolsby. So shout out to the shining there. Definitely shining a light on how strong this market is, because we have that little move down and like back to flat on Meta. Yay, exciting times. And then the market comes right back up. However, we're still, I say that now, we're trying to push higher. We're still rejecting that 530.20 area. We'll see what happens here. Honestly, I got back in this short because I did, at the time, think we had that push lower. I should have been playing this so long. I think I might have been a little bit counter trend here. Mayhaps, perchance, on this META, but I don't want to force myself out. I did kind of get out. Top look at that last time. And look, every time we get to 530.25, what do? We try to push lower. Now, sometimes, granted, when you have such a long time trying to break above that level and then you break above it, things get violent. And as a short, you get smacked in the face, kind of aggressively. I do not want that. No interest in getting rinsed here on Meta on what's otherwise been a pretty good day. But that being said, I think you also have to balance your confidence. I do have confidence in this trade. I like this look. I don't know what the balance, the evidence is saying. That could be the issue. You want to be sure you're confident beyond a reasonable doubt. But the thing with trading is you always have reasonable doubts. That's why, when I say I have no qualms, bit of an exaggeration. You're always going to have some qualms as a trader. I feel like it's hard to be qualmless unless you're literally like in the middle of a downtrend getting short, or like in the middle of an uptrend getting long, like those violent SPY moves. But, you just have to take things to balance the evidence. You have to have the confidence you have, and you have to be willing to let things go against you, because if, things are never going to work at 100%. Every trade is going to be kind of 50-50, right? You can try to make those probabilities a little bit better. What I've realized is, like, you just have to believe in yourself. As cheesy as I know that sounds, above all, if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? That's the long and short of it, honestly. Pun kind of not intended. Have the conviction and have that confidence so that you can look at the balance of the evidence and make the right verdict for your trading. There.
Yes, thank you, Darren.
Yeah, good look there. Also, great long call on CMG. Zion Lola shouting you out for that. You and Brian, you're making more than a Brian nickel in that trade. But also, I like to read out this comment from Big Spile Burnett here. Basically, what was this comment here? I can't find it now, but it was basically about mirror on the wall. Will the SPY ever fall? I think, I honestly, as someone who's in a short right now, I would probably enjoy a bit of a SPY move to the downside. But right now, still near high of days. These indices, so strong today, Obi, as you were saying, heading into this weekend. Do you have any big weekend plans?
Nothing too crazy. I think I'm just gonna. I got a lot of stuff to catch up on in terms of I still am not as deep as I'd like to be on my July monthly review. So I need to get that kind of finished there. I've been wanting to give it the appropriate time, and that hasn't really happened just yet. So I'm going to be probably working on July trade review of how the month went, kind of strengths and weaknesses on the month as well. So that's what I'll be mainly focused on this weekend. How about you? Do you got any plans?
Probably going to write a little bit. Also want to be doing some reflecting. Just trying to thank you. I think Fabian, I'm assuming, for the bang button there. Appreciate that. Yeah, trying to do some writing. I had a little bit of inspo lately, so I've been trying to cash in on that goodwill. But the market, hopefully, maybe can have me cash in on Meta. I'm joking. I'm flat right now. But we get a little bit of a push here to the downside on these markets. Okay, Qs, let's go. You're going to break below that level that you've been holding. We've got the SPY below that 5, trying to get below that 550, 450. Usually I would take a SPY short in these moments, but I definitely cannot afford both the SPY and Meta at the same time. That is not going to be happening. These are both $500 tickers, and I know what my buying power is. But the TQs here, I know I said I don't like trading the TQs, but if we stay below, if we have a little bit of a 69 rejection here, I'd be kind of tempted to take a pop short. Still have these kind of bottoming wicking candles, but it looks like a bit of a rounded top here. Maybe finally going to happen here in some of these Mag 7 names. Seeing a bit of a move down here on this TSLA. How are you doing in your trades right now, Obi? How are you feeling?
Not too bad. Again, just observing, just watching, kind of I guess, building into it, if that's what you want to call it. 217.5s trading right now. So we did kind of break a bit of the trend here, but let's see. We could just look like we're breaking the trend, come right back in, right? And also want to also reference the futures here. Every time we have pulled into this 19-620s, we do get a little bid back up. So going to be watching that. We're coming into this area that has been acting as support for the past hour or so. So let's see if that kind of breaks in. But Apple, oh boy, that consolidation, that same kind of support being reflected here on Apple as 22630s, getting a little bit sideways there. So let's see if we get a little bit of a reversion towards VWAP going into the end of the day there. But yeah, that CMG, I guess, is working out nicely as of right now. I'm just looking at it. I don't even have the chart up for it, but I am kind of watching the blotter. Don't be doing that too much, but watching the blotter here just to kind of look at some of my positions as of right now. But yeah, let's see if this 217 can potentially come back in. Market taking a little bit of a pullback. I'm looking for Apple to break that consolidation low, maybe take a little bit of a reversion. We've been pretty strong throughout the day. We've been pretty strong over the past couple of weeks, Adara. So can't stop, won't stop this market on the reversion. And speaking of one of the best reversion trades that pretty much I think happened this month as well, this month was the VIX. The VIX reversion was a huge trade. That happened again, maybe not necessarily just an intraday trade. That's what I'm realizing. Some of the best trades don't just last one day. They're like multi-day swings, if anything, because there's significant pressure that literally covers multiple days worth of action. Here comes the breakdown. Let's see if this 19,620 pulls in. There we go. Apple to the downside. Let's go. I need some more here. Give me a reason. 217's coming in real hot. Sean, some of these prices, oh boy, good luck rushing into these prices. I'm like, okay, how do I figure this out? Do I continue shorting front side or do I short back side? Maybe a little bit of both. I got to find a balance. That's what I'm looking for here. 217s comes in quite aggressively. Let's see if we can catch a little bit of a bid. That sell coming in off that consolidation break here. Coming into the end of the day, only about 9 minutes left for the show.
How is it only 151, Obi?
Look at that.
Flies.
Time definitely flies when you're having fun, Adara. So I'm definitely having some fun here with this Tesla and some of this Apple as well. Wow, we rebid the quarter right away. 217 quarters. That's where I'm sitting at, man. Let's see if we can get a continuation to the downside as of right now. With this market taking a little bit of a breather, like we said, pulling right back into that 19.6 and catching a bid off that 19.6. Tesla not really reflecting as aggressive of a sell, I guess. Well, what do I know? Let's see if that 217 holds as of right now. We take a little bit of breather. VWAP, where is VWAP? 216.37. So we're about a point away from VWAP. Let's see if we can get to VWAP right there. VWAP, some interesting interaction earlier on in the day. Let's see if we can kind of come in to those prices once again here on Tesla. Apple to the downside as well. Oh boy. Why don't I have more Apple, Sean?
Yeah, this has been really fun. I took two.
Yeah, I definitely need to put some more zeros on this.
Some more zeros. Sorry, I need to cut that off there. So Meta here, I'm really proud I stuck with this. I definitely got out of the first position there too early, took a loss, should have waited, but you know as 21 Savage says, taking less L's, making more M's. No M's being made here, but like, man, am I proud of getting back on this Meta, because like I said, I was like, oh, the first one would against you. Oh, Dara, wait. But I was like, Dara, Meta is spreadier. We call it spreader for a reason. Remember, it's spready, stay in it. So I did initially have that position right, 69s, got out half there at 25s. Then when I saw us get back to 529.50s, which is, you remember, was a level I liked, that was also a level from earlier, I said, Dara, add in. I added in. Took out the rest 2/3 of that position there at 529. Rinse, repeat, let's go Meta. The next area I find really fascinating here is rejection here, 529. I like that 529.25 area. No idea if we'll be able to add here, but let's try to go. 21 is my lucky number. Shout out to 21 Savage. So let's see here, but maybe Meta, if you just want to break below here and continue to break down lower, I'm cool just letting you ride to the downside. Really happy with what I did with Meta. Meanwhile, you guys know I love my whole dollar SPY breakdowns and the SPY getting to 554. So you know what? Honestly, I'll take my Meta with the side of SPY. Let's see what's got going on here. As we get that S&P 500 pushing towards that 554, Meta pushing lower here. We're gonna I don't know, we're getting a bit of a bounce here in the 554 in the SPY, so I'm not going to be trying to take that short right now. Meta, though, if you want to break lower, I'd be pleased this punch. Going to have a bit of a flyer here. If we get to 21s, I'll be adding. If we get above 529.50s, that's going to be where I have to leave, because that was not just because that's where the position is now, but that's also just that level that I like for right now. And I'm definitely not risking it all the way back up into that 530s, the 530.20s, which is my initial area. This has been such a fun trading day. Thank you for being here today, Obi.
Well, thank you
on a day where there's some reversion, I feel like it's very apt.
Oh boy.
That you get to sit here at this desk with all of us here. Tesla coming to that $1 level too. We have that 27. Oh my gosh, Meta. Oh my God, Meta, do you want to be $1 in the money for me? I'd be pleased this punch. Okay, we're gonna switch. I know I initially wanted to add there. If we can get back to 20, like 898, I'll even add a little bit here because I want to take this Meta to the downside. I don't know, you probably no one remembers this except for me, but I had that Meta short on earnings day, that 500 breakdown, and I only got filled a fifth of the shares I wanted to get filled at. A little bit disappointing. I don't want to call this revenge. That'd be really, it's not revenge, but I feel like maybe the market's giving me some karma. They're like, Adara, here's the Meta trade you wanted to take, because what I wanted to do with that initial Meta trade was piece in and out of it, like what I'm trying to do here. So thank you, market. Thank you, Meta. And Mark at Zuckerberg heading to the downside. That was a really dumb pun. But let's see what we got going on here. Thank you, Rivian Millionaire, for the kind words there. Happy with this trade. Initially did go against me. I had that first trade not work out, but as you know, and I really want to echo back to that conversation we had a couple weeks ago when you were sitting at this desk. I know you and Neil talked about it a bit last week as well. Sometimes you're not going to get your first pop at the move, but you have to have the confidence to get back in and try the second try. That's what I did here on M to the E to the T to the A. I'm going to stop waxing poetic about Meta. Pometic?
Pometic.
No, well, that didn't really work, but I tried. DQs, though. Trying to have a little bit of a move here. Like I said, I cannot afford to be in both the SPY and the Meta here. But if the TQs want to give me a little bit of a quick short opportunity as we come into that previous area of support, if we get to 68, 80s and reject, I'll be tempted to take a bit of a Q short as well as I wait to add into this Meta. How are you feeling now in your shorts while Chipotle continues to do its thing?
Well, Chipotle is doing its thing here. 217 is holding as of right now. Not really like that 19.6 is holding well as well. And like my average is not the best. Again, but 217s it's pretty much trading at my average here on Tesla. So let's see. That was the first kind of break in trend. Let's see if we do some trend deceleration, or we continue to the upside, or we actually that's some real selling, and we kind of continue selling off a little bit for the reversion down into VWAP. Again, VWAP being at 216.37, right? So about a point away from VWAP as of right now, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for VWAP to come in on Tesla as a reversion of this over an hour, almost 2 hours. When did this start? This started when like half an hour after I sat down. So 11:30, all the way from 11:30 to almost 2 o'clock. So over 2 hours worth of a bid, and we're taking a little bit of a pullback. Let's see if we can get to that VWAP. I have no idea, but that's what I'm looking for here. That is aggressive buying, kind of coming right back in. But yeah, a little bit of aggressive price action happening here on Tesla. So let's see how it kind of comes in.
That book is like fluttering.
Oh yeah, it's aggressive. I'm like when it moves that fast, I'm just like, that's really when I'm reading the rainbow. I'm watching the level one. I'm watching how the bids and the asks are getting slapped around, and yeah. So.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, of course. That
Sean's like, don't get me started.
We had some examples
yesterday of some ask slapping that was going on in the wild, So we like to use in the wild examples.
Way to take my phrase and turn it in that way, Obi. Way to do that to my phrase. Okay.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, shout out there to Obi, to Sean, to the Neelage. Meta, honestly, as we get a move higher here in the Qs, Meta's still pretty weak here, so we'll see what happens. If I get I'm still at my 529. Instead of dip buy, I guess it's a rip sell. So I still have that order set to go, right? Is that, I think it's the inverse. Obviously, we could pop up here. I'm still going to be risking to 529.50s, but I feel good about this short, so I'd rather add into it than get a little bit upset there. Because that's what I realized, that's what confidence means. I used to think confidence meant looking at any chart I felt mildly good about and getting involved. That's not confidence. That's being kind of reckless and weird. But what confidence is knowing when those setups hit, knowing how you have to take them. That's what real confidence is. That's what I'm realizing, and I have real confidence in this Meta. So much that I actually went back in even after the first position went against me, because I knew if it hit, it would hit. And then, did it make you wait for it? Absolutely it did. But When it hit, it was beautiful. I'm aware we only have 2 minutes left and I do not trade after the midday. But if I'm able to take out another 2/3 here as we get to 528.50s, I'll hold because sometimes we do have that move right after 2 o'clock. That actually got me out of my only successful trade yesterday, a Palantir short. So we'll see what we have as this move down. Right now, the market trying to push up. So, oh boy, Obi, what an exciting day we have had here. Thanks again for being here with us today. Is there anything else you want to say as we have last minute of the midday show?
No, yeah, it's been quite a midday again. I didn't even realize where the time went there today, but yeah, it's been solid and some strong action there, yeah, some okay trading, some bad trading. You know, trying to piece it together on some of these names on the day. Hopefully, you guys are trading well as well. Well, not as well. I'm not really trading well today, but you know. That's the goal. We're trying to trade well,
that is the goal.
Right? And it's like there's value to it either way. You can look at the trades and be like, that's really bad. Don't do that, right? Or that's really good. Maybe there's something to take away from that. So always a silver lining to kind of watching other traders trade. And again, thank you guys for being here and spending that time with us on the midday.
It's a beautiful way to end it. Thank you so much again, Obi, for being here. Bears were supposed to say Adobe for the win. Yeah, long Adobe. But right now, we're going to have to be long Big Kahunas because they're over there in that desk. Thank you guys so much for being here. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Sean and Neil time.
I don't even have my mic.
That was fun. That was
Let's be real. It comes over to us, and like Sharif's over at the desk. He talks about where the futures are going, and we have the rundown of
what's coming here. I'm just not ready.
Dude, I forgot. I totally forgot. I'm like, wait a minute. There's no Sharif over there. Oh, that's right. It's going to come directly to us. I'm checking to make sure that I'm not muted, all that good stuff. So as everyone starts trickling in,